Good morning. Hello, Black women friends. Hello, those of you who think you never will be able to retire, right? Those of you who are living your life today as though you're going to have to work until your last day. This video is for you. We're going to talk today in this live stream with Black women in the community and with myself about ways to other ways, right? Other ways. You don't have to work until you die, right? We're going to talk about the ways to financially afford to not work until you die. We're going to talk about ways to to give ourselves the mental ability to do that. Like some women don't think that they could retire because they would just fall apart or drop dead immediately out of boredom or something. So we're going to address that as well. And we're going to talk about places that make retirement more feasible, places in the world. For some of our problems, the problem isn't us. The problem is we're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong country. Maybe it is not realistic for you to think about retirement today where you live, but it might very well be a reality if you would pick yourself up and go someplace else. So today we're talking to Black women who think they're going to have to work till they die. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter. I'm house sitting right now in San Jose, Costa Rica, taking care of two dogs who are very good. You may see them a little bit, but you're not going to hear too much from them. I'm in San Jose, Costa Rica. I'm a house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School and the co-creator of Exodus Summit. And I help Black women take a sabbatical or a career break. I help Black women move abroad. I help Black women bop around as a nomad, all while embracing ease. If these things sound good to you, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Yeah, subscribe, the button. Thank you. And then turn on notifications, ring the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I post a new video or when I go live with my friends. Welcome. And hello, friends. Hi, Jennifer Jace. Good morning, Tanya Bliss. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Living Life by Design. Hey, Black Moms Abroad. Hey, Valerina. Good morning, Happy Nurse Patty. Good morning, Barbara Freedom Quest. April Dean Hunter. Ola Yinka O. Good morning, Mom. Hey, Connie Perry. Good morning, Mary Goff. Good morning, Pinky. Good morning. I'm glad you're with us. I'm glad you're up. Oh, you can still lay in the bed. You can be in the bed. Good morning, Fairly Fast. Good morning, Shauna. Good morning, Meriton Martin. Good morning, Book G's. I got to figure this out because I feel like I'm not saying this right. Book G's? Bookies? I need a pronunciation chart. Good morning, Janice. Good morning, Genesis 1:11. Good morning. Good morning, Sivongle. Good morning, Kathia Roberts. I think this is a new name. Good morning. Hello. Good morning, Lakeisha Cooper, New Life Curator. Hi, I love that name. Good morning, Ice Coco and Wild Love Living and Tamika and African Osarine Co. Y'all put me to the test this morning. Good morning, Tracy Mills. How's everything, Tracy? And hey, Diamond. Hey, y'all. Okay, so good morning. Listen, if you're in the chat today and you think, can you tell us in the chat how old you think you'll need to work until you retire? Seriously. And if you're a person who thinks that you're going to have to work until your last day, put that, okay? Let us know in the chat. Can we get a roll call? Can we get a roll call? I'll tell you my number. I think I am 10 years away from not needing to make any more money to live. I'm 49. I think 59 is the end of things. Now, I already don't have a job. I've already separated myself from job life, but I think at 59, like before 60, I think I will have the money I need to live the rest of my life. That's the plan. Okay, that's the plan. So if you have a number, share it. If you don't have a number and you think it's just going to be forever and ever, put that in the chat, please. Let's see what's happening out here. This is a community where you'll probably see a variety. I have too much body oil on. Thank you. You'll probably see a large variety of numbers. But I think I'm 10 years away from the money that I've invested in my retirement fund supporting me and being enough to support me. Not that I don't think I'll make any more money 10 years from now. I'll be continuing to make money because I'm creating assets that will continue to make money. Being a business owner means as long as you own that business, you have the potential to make money. But what I'm saying is I think I'm 10 years away from having I have a number. I know the number. I from 10 years away from having that number in the bank, right? Okay, let's look at what's happening. Okay, hi, Sustainable Steph says, retired at 58 in 2022. Congratulations. Living Life by Design says 65. Black Mom Abroad says 52. Greta Cobb, 68. Eileen, 65. Braids Like Brandy, forever. Okay. Vanessa Ruiz, 57. Jay, 55. Alienka. Oh, I'm in the Wealthy Black Women Summit, which is happening right now. Okay. Okay. Good morning. The Wealthy Black Women Summit is happening right now. You won't hurt my feelings if you take a second, go over and look at the sessions. And if you want to register for the summit and attend today, you can go ahead and attend today. It kind of feeds into what we're talking about. Not kind of. It feeds into what we're talking about. The tickets are listed on the website in Canadian dollars, so I've listed them in US dollars for your convenience. Okay? Wealthy Black Women Summit is hosted by last week's guest on my channel, Semirith Fagbemi. And she is hosting a full day talking about wealth and different types of wealth and different paths to wealth for Black women. Okay, we're giving New Monet. Hey, New Monet. We're talking about, we're giving what number, what age we think we'll be retiring at. Okay, and seriously, if you think you'll never get to, if you think you'll always need to work to make money, you could put that in there, right? If you think the number is never, put that in there. But let us know in the chat when you, no, this is including the yacht. So let me tell. No, indeed. I have a full number, right? Including yacht money. The thing about having a pot of cash somewhere in an investment account or several in a business is that that money continues to make money. So once I hit my number, which is going to be really scary to you, so I don't want to say it. Last time I talked money and I talked about how much a trip of 2 months in South Africa and Mauritius was going to cost me at my lifestyle. Some of you got so freaked out that you refused to plan your own long career break because you think my numbers are your numbers. Okay. So I'm not going to share my number with you right now. Maybe one day we'll do a video and I'll break it down. But I know my number. My number includes me supporting myself and having money for children, right? Because I don't have them yet, but right? And a yacht and the money to live on a yacht and the money to, do yacht things. I think 10 years. I do. I think 10 years. I'm working on it. Okay. Part of that is investment accounts continue to make money, right? They continue to make money. All I need is enough money to buy the stuff outright. I want to buy some things outright. But then I just need to make my investment money to make enough money for me to pull out that amount every year and live on it, right? And shrink it very slowly. I don't think I need to not shrink it, but I need to shrink that money very slowly. I need to pull out at a pace that kind of keeps up with the earnings of the account. This is beyond my ability to explain this to you. I'm not a financial person, which you're going to see when we talk about this, when we talk this talk today. You're going to see I'm not a financial person. I'm just a person who has heard enough financial information and come up with my own figures that make sense for me, to me. Okay? Well, so Kimberly says, share the number. What happened is when I sat down and did a full video where I said, let's plan my 2 months in South Africa and Mauritius. And you plan yours along with me. Some of y'all didn't do your numbers with me. You just sat and watched me do my number. So my budget for that 2 months is something like, what was it, $12,000? It was exorbitant, right? But that's flying business class. That's staying in real nice places, right? Having a driver drive me around some, or an Uber, whatever, right? And so some of y'all then have not made any progress towards a career break of your own or sabbatical of your own because you only heard that number instead of working on your own number. So maybe one day I'll do a full video and explain it with a person who can also explain why there are cheaper ways, less expensive ways to retire, right? But I don't want, I'm not in the business of scaring people off from something. I'm in the business of making things more realistic to you. But what is realistic to me today was not realistic to me 10 years ago, right? When I made $22 an hour, a yacht was not realistic. Okay. A yacht is, truth be told, a yacht is not realistic to me today, but a yacht is realistic where I'm going. Okay. Anyway, there's a number. You should all have a number. Okay, part of what we're going to do today is figure out ways to we're not going to calculate your number today. That's beyond my abilities. Okay, but we can talk about some things that you're going to put in your number, some things that you're going to calculate, right? So Sibongile is saying when you have a stash of cash, if you can draw out, if you can live on 4% of that every year, right, then that stash of cash should stay the same amount through the end of your life. Okay, but that's not, we're not going to do that. Okay, so KB's got a number of 60. KS says semi-retired now at 56, living off military disability and still investing monthly. That's wonderful. That sounds, you say semi-retired, but that sounds retired to me. Are you saying semi-retired because you do think you'll do something for money? Because if your retirement income is giving you enough income that you can still invest for a full-on retirement, girl, you done working. Okay, you are done working. Jobs have seen the end of you. Pinky, I was 56 when I stopped working at the start of the pandemic. Okay, good. All right. That black cat, 15, I have no idea. I'm early in my career, but I'm over corporate and currently trying to pivot and figure out how to make money without a job and how to invest. Okay, so I can't give you, friends, information on how to invest. What are we going to talk about today? Let me pull up my thing. Because we're going to talk about some very specific things today that are within my abilities, in my abilities, okay? And then there are some other specific things that you're going to need to find support on from somebody else, because I'm not the investment queen, okay? You're going to need to go to Adelia, who is Picky Girl Travels the World. Or you're going to want to go to Rashida's second channel, Rashida Doe, not Rashida Dow, Rashida Doe, Dough, okay, for investment help. But what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about, let me scroll, let me get my notes, okay? We're going to talk about focusing on job-free income, okay, ways to make money without a job, which is where I am today. We're going to talk briefly about getting income from a job to leave, severance, okay? We're going to talk very briefly about severance. We can't talk about moneyless living. There's no such thing as moneyless living the way our society is set up today. But we can talk about less money living, right? We can talk about living with less money. Also, I would like for us to talk about the idea of the mini retirement, which is not a full-on retired, I'm never going to work again, but is a long period of time, a career break, a sabbatical, where you don't work, even if you think you are going to have to work forever. Can you not work for a year and then go back to work? And then can you not work, can maybe work another 3 years, then can you not work for another year? Can you take a mini retirement every 4 years or so, or 5 years if you're going to keep working until your last year, can you at least give yourself significant blocks of time where you don't work? So that's what we're going to cover today, or talk about today. Focusing on job-free income. We're going to talk briefly about severance, less money living. Even though we can't talk about moneyless living, we can talk about less money living. And I'd like to talk about mini retirements. So let's go ahead and start with where do we want to start? Let's start with focusing on job-free income. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's start focusing on job-free income. Because a lot of times when I talk about not having a job, people are like, you work. I'm like, yeah, I work on what I want. There's a difference, okay? I have location freedom, and I have time freedom, and I have decision like work freedom. I decide what I want to work on and what I don't want to work on. I've told you a lot. My jobs were, I had a job once where my job was I was a credit analyst for a bank, and my job was actually to lower people's credit lines on the phone. They would call in for an increase. I would ask them questions. I would look up their credit report, and I would say, unfortunately, today, Ms. Wilson, I'm going to, I need to actually, I can't increase your credit line today. I'm actually going to lower it to just $350 above your balance, okay? Uh, and that's effective immediately. So I've done jobs where I had no control over what work I did. There's a difference between a job and doing work and working on things that you want to work on. I have the pleasure now of working on, I'm sorry, I'm just going to adjust my light because I think I need a little warmer light today. I have the pleasure now of working only on the things that I want to work on. Oh, there you go. And that is work freedom that you don't get in most jobs. So that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk first about separating income generation from jobs. Because as you know, I don't like jobs. I don't think jobs give you the opportunity to live out your dreams. For the most part, most jobs don't let Black women live a full life. Don't let in America, in the United States, jobs don't let anybody live a full life, right? If you have a job, if you are seen as a worker, you're not seen as a whole person. You don't have the ability to live a full life, and it's not something you even couldn't recognize until you leave the country, which is why you see so many people take a nice long vacation or a sabbatical or something, and then come back and be unable to live the same way, unable to go back to that type of job and that kind of work. So let's talk about ways that some of us in this chat have generated income without a job. Okay, and as I've said, I define job as having control over what you work on, when you work, where you work. Maybe not where you work, because there are remote jobs. There are truly location agnostic remote jobs who don't care where you are in the world. Okay, but you are not in charge of what you work on, and you are not necessarily in charge of your time. Okay, so that's how I'm going to define a job. I work for myself. It still, it still requires me to do certain things, but I choose, right? If I don't want to do it, I don't do it. It doesn't get done. Okay, so anybody here making income without a job? Has anyone here been able to separate their income generation from a job? Okay, so I've told you my retirement accounts at some point will generate income for me without a job. Today's not that day. I can't live on that money today. But I guess it's still creating income, but it's just chump change, right? But there is a point where my investment incomes will do that for me. What is it today? How today do I make income with no job? I think I've counted 7 ways at different points. Okay, so today, my YouTube channel is monetized. YouTube runs ads on my channel. And when you watch an ad, thank you. Or if you have YouTube Premium, YouTube gives me a little cut, right? I have YouTube Premium. I don't watch ads anymore. I'm above it, okay? It's above me now. But I generate income from this very YouTube channel. This channel supports me for all of 2022 and the first half of 2023. This channel made me enough money to live every month. Now, somewhere around the middle of 2023, that money took a little dip, okay? So it's not enough for me to live on totally, except that, no, I'm gonna take it back because I'm house sitting. So this month, my channel is making me enough money to live on. Last month when I went to Panama, okay, that was not YouTube money. I had to dip into my other income generating sources to pay for that. But my YouTube channel generates enough money for me to live on. That is one stream. And my YouTube channel has been monetized since 2020. Merch makes me little bits of money. Now my merch money all goes to the Vicarian Sabbatical Fund, but that's my choice, right? The merch still makes money. House Sitter School. House Sitter School is my digital course where I show you how to get started on the Trusted House Sitters platform and how to apply for and book your first house sit. House Sitter School, my course makes me money. One-on-one coaching. I do individual coaching calls that make me money. My YouTube coaching is separate from house sitting coaching, right? I have a YouTube challenge and a YouTube coaching community. Those make me money to live. Oh, affiliate income. So separate from, sorry, hold on. Separate from my YouTube money, okay, is my affiliate income from Trusted House Sitters. I'm an ambassador or a partner with Trusted House Sitters. When you use my link to become a house sitter, they give me a cut. I believe it's 40%, right? This is a solid source of income for me that is related to everything I do is related. Everything I do is related to house sitting, right? But that is where money comes from. And Exodus Summit, the virtual summit that I co-host with Rashida Dow, brings income in for me. These are my income generating sources that are not related to me having a job. Okay? So, what we should be hearing today from me, what I can teach you is that what you know how to do, things you already know how to do, someone will pay you to teach them, help them, show them, give them a little extra support, some progress, right? Except for the YouTube money and the merch money, all of it, so the YouTube money is the YouTube channel exists because you are here and you appreciate me showing you how to do some stuff and bringing on other people to talk about how to do some stuff, right? So I was going to say everything is related to me. Everything, all of my income is related to me knowing something and giving you a way to pay me for what I know. That does not include the middleman, doesn't include the job, the employer, the boss. Okay? As Black women, we all have things that we know how to do. It's impossible to be an adult Black woman. Impossible to be an adult Black woman in the US or UK or Canada or the Caribbean. It's impossible to be an adult Black woman and not know how to do something that's worth money, because we would not survive. Ain't nobody, look, ain't nobody holding us up like that. Nobody's lifting us from the bottom. Nobody's supporting us like that, where we can be just unskilled, dumb as a box of rocks, and live. We can't. And so, if you are a Black adult woman, there are things you know how to do that people will pay you for. Maybe individuals, maybe businesses, maybe the government, who is the big spender, right? When you, okay, all right, there's something you know how to do that people will pay you to teach them. That's how I'm living, right? It's how I went from being a pharmacy technician making $22 an hour to talking about I'm going to Africa for 2 months and I'm about to spend $12,000 on just those 2 months, right? That is how that has happened. I know some stuff. I listened to what people were asking me to teach them, and I made places to teach them those things. From as simple as a one-on-one call, which is just a Calendly link and PayPal, to as complicated as a virtual summit with 40, 50 speakers sometimes, with contracts and technology and all of that, okay? From simple to complicated, from small dollar. Merch is probably the lowest ticket item, right? From small dollar, and then my one-on-one calls. And even my Get Found on YouTube Masterclass is under $100, right? From small dollar to bigger dollar, the summit, the Get Your Next Three Clients challenge that Rashida and I host, to even bigger dollar. You may not know this. Do I want to announce this? I do in-person VIP business coaching. That's expensive. Okay. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I do in person, one on face to face, side to side, one weekend, accelerated coaching. That costs a grip. Okay, it costs money. But if you are already in business and you're already in making money, it the price is right. Okay, the price is right. So From small dollar to larger what they call high ticket in the coaching world, from small to high ticket pricing, I have taken what I know and shared it out in the world for money, without a job, without a middleman. Okay? Let me tell you this, and then we'll talk about this a little later. We don't want to stop the progress, but Rashida and I do host the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge. And the next Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge is happening November 26th. So if you already have an idea or a business, right, and you just need clients, this is it. Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge starts November 26th. It's a 6-day challenge where we teach you how to get your message in front of the right people and how to invite those people to work with you. Okay? It's I usually don't say this on the internet except for during the challenge, but it's a pitching challenge. This is a challenge where you learn how to pitch your services and your products to people. I mean, you may never hear me say that word again because it scares people off, but it's what you have to do. You have to be able to get in front of people's audiences, right? They're gathered audiences like this audience. People come on my channel all the time and talk about their products and their services. But they don't only talk about their products and their services. They coach you for free on my channel and then invite you to work with them. No surprise that this is what I teach. No, it should be no surprise. I don't teach paid ads because I don't know how to use paid ads. They're not working for me. I don't teach, what's another thing that I don't teach? DMs. I don't teach you how to DM people on Instagram and prospect one at a time. I don't teach prospecting. I teach getting in front of other people's audiences. And Rashida and I are teaching this in the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge. This is probably our 15th, 10th, maybe 10th or 15th, 10th, 12th, 15th time hosting this challenge. We have students out in the world whose businesses are bringing in clients because they now know how to do it. Right? Black women only. This challenge is for Black women only. You don't have to already have a business operating. Okay? It's helpful. If you already have a business set up, but you're just not getting clients, join us. If you don't have a business set up, but you have an idea of what you want to do, a product or a service that you want to provide online, challenge is for you. You're invited. It's only not for people who sell a physical product in a physical place. If you need people to come to your store, Rashida and I are not the coaches for you. We don't know. Okay? I don't know. I don't know physical products. I don't know location-specific services. But if you are online, join us. Okay? ExodusSummit.com/next3clients. ExodusSummit.com/next3clients. Okay? All right. Yeah, Stephanie, I've done way too much free coaching in my life. We don't do that anymore. When you do free coaching, you lose and the client loses. I know it sounds like I'm making stuff up, but when you do free coaching, you lose and they lose because nobody values free advice. Nobody values free coaching. Even I will ghost somebody who gives me something for free, okay? And then turn around and pay for it because now I really need it, but now it costs money, right? Nobody values that free thing. Money is just an exchange, right? You're going to provide your service in exchange for money. That's how money operates. That's how all businesses operate. You're not doing we're not creating any new thing by charging money for our services and our products. We're not starting anything new. Okay? This is the way it's always been. I don't know about the first the first people to exchange money for things. The money didn't look like what money looks like today, but there's always been an exchange, one thing for another. So we don't do that anymore. We charge for our stuff. It's worth something. It's worth something, right? If it wasn't worth anything, nobody would want it. They wouldn't be coming to you asking you for help if it wasn't worth anything. So we charge for things. If you're having a struggle with this is one of the things that we can work through in the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge, and we can work through it like that. Rashida and I are good at this, okay? Yeah, people don't appreciate your time or expertise or information if you just throwing it out for free. They're not going to do it. They're not going to follow up. You holler at them a few weeks later, a few months later. Hey, whatever happened with that? Oh, girl, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I forgot all about. Oh, that's right. You did tell me. That feels terrible because that time costs you. Time is expensive. Time is not renewable. It's not a renewable resource. That time costs you something. So stop giving away your time and your expertise and your knowledge for free. Value for value is right. That's right. Okay, so fairly fast. I'm living off grid. I can teach what I've learned to live without modern day conveniences. Somebody is, listen, there's a lot of somebodies into that, right? Into that. Um, you don't have to have a full picture of how things will work for you to get started. I'm a witness, right? You don't have to have a full picture. Have an idea, right? Have an idea that somebody's interested in learning this thing and have an idea for a way that you can deliver that thing, right? So seriously, you're invited to the Get Your Next Three Clients Challenge if you're a Black woman who has something that you want to teach somebody, right? Or it could be coaching, retreat hosts do well in the challenge, and trip organizers, consultants. If you're business to business, right? You're a consultant with a business, they do well. Um, yeah, yeah. If you know something that somebody's willing to pay you to either do or teach them. Freelancers also do well. Freelancing is different from coaching. In freelancing, you're doing the work. With some sort of coaching or teaching, you're teaching people how to do the work, right? But freelancers, still, you need clients. You need to get your word out to the right people, not one client, not one prospect at a time, but in front of a group of people who may want your products or services. Join us in the Get Your Next Three Clients Challenge on November 26th, exodussummit.com/challenge. 25 women. We always have 20 we have done it with 30, but it was a little too much, right? With 25 women, you get to know what everyone else is doing. Everyone gets to talk and share. Everyone makes sure they get their questions answered, and you walk away with a gang of women who know what you do, who you do it for, why you're into it, how good you are, right? How interested you are. It's really wonderful. Okay, so first we're talking about focusing on job-free income. One path, not the only path, but one path to job-free income is cutting out the middleman. Cut out the job, do the thing yourself. Um, yeah, okay. So let's see. Let me see if there are any questions. Auntie Lou, does the amount you need to retire different? Yeah. Yes, it does. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about location, money. We can't talk about moneyless living, but we can talk about less money living. And yes, absolutely, it makes a difference. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Yeah, all things woman. I feel like working at a corporate job is getting in the way of me fully working on my business. Yeah, it should come to a point where that's the case. In the beginning, your job is the investor in your business, right? The job is paying you so that you have some ability to work on the business, right? The job is like an investor. But there should come a time when it's not worth it, when you could do better leaving the job and just having the business, right? That's growth. That's good news. That's good news, right? Once you get to a point where what you're getting from the job is less than what you would get from the business, if you had that time, those hours in the day, it's time to let that job go. All right? It's time to let that job go. All right. I'm looking for questions real quick before we move on. Kay says those that pay attention. It's true. I've done a lot of things at a variety of price points, right? At a variety of prices. Free is never the way. It's never the way. Right, living more fulfilled. She's heard this. Right? Oh, girl, I didn't do it. Right? You don't spend all that focused time and attention trying to help them do something, trying to teach them something, trying to coach them on something. And then you follow up and they're like, oh, girl, what? Oh, yeah, that's right. You know what? I didn't even do it. Okay. No more free. No more free. Platforms like YouTube or your podcast, this is where you give the free. YouTube is for the free. Your other stuff should not be free. If it's going to take any of your time, absolutely, it's not free. No, indeed. No, indeed. If it's going to give them some actual progress, it's not free. Now, all of us have started off offering something very free or low cost, right? My first coaching calls, I believe I charged $20, right, for my first coaching calls. We've all started off like that. But once you have once you know a result you can get for people, once you have one testimonial, no more free. To me, $20 is the same as free, right? No more free. Once you know a result, I know a result, right? In the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge, I know a result you can get. 3 clients. 3 clients. You're going to leave the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge clear on who your product or service is for, clear on where they are in the world. Like literally, where do they hang out, online or in person? Where are they? And you're going to have a message to deliver. You're going to know how and where to deliver the message, and you're going to know how to invite them to work with you. And you're going to have an offer, a offer, even if it's not the offer that you keep forever. You're going to have an offer, a something to provide, right? I know I can get you that. 6 days, an hour or two a day. I know that. I know it, right? Boom. Once you know a result that you can get people, no more free. Okay? Barbara says she got to put her thinking cap on. All right. Okay. Okay, so no questions about this particular point. Elon Nicole says not having YouTube Premium is uncivilized. When I log out of here and I log into my other channel, is called Stephanie Perry Media. When I log into that channel, I don't have YouTube Premium on that channel, and I accidentally will watch some videos and I'll be like, "What's going on? Where are these ads coming from?" Okay, thank you. Where are these ads coming from? What's happening? I'm like, oh, I'm not logged into YouTube Premium. Okay. Oh, hey, Mama Lynn. Good amount of English speakers. So Mama Lynn's asking about places in the Caribbean with a lot of English speakers, cheap for a single mother. So I can't think of any place in the Caribbean that I would call cheap. In the Caribbean, as an English speaker, you'll be fine. Like even in Curacao, where English was not the first or second or third language, it was fine. It worked out. But I wouldn't call any place in the Caribbean cheap, except for like the Dominican Republic, which is anti-Black. I wouldn't call any place in the Caribbean cheap. It's just an more expensive part of the world. Latin America, like Guatemala and whatever. I can't think of the other place. Less expensive. Panama, even less expensive. I wouldn't call Panama cheap, but Panama less expensive than a lot of parts of the U.S. But the Caribbean, I don't think is an option for cheap. There are, thank you. He barked and now he wants me to, okay, thank you. Somebody outside, they're very territorial. They live in a complex, right? Like there's going to be people outside. I'm house sitting, two dogs, one medium and one small. Let's talk about this in just a second because we're going to talk about location as another point, okay? But first, we're talking about job-free income, okay? One path to job-free income is cutting out the middleman and taking what you know on to the market, right? Another source of job-free income is investment income. Investment is just putting your money somewhere where it pays you back. That doesn't have to be only the stock market, right? I have my little Vanguard account, bless her heart, my little Vanguard account, right? Which I continue to contribute to. I have my little Vanguard account. At some point, the money that I have put in that account, plus the money that has grown itself in that account, will pay me back. That's an investment. My business is also an investment. I think that books are being a book author and publisher are wonderful investments. If you Ooh. Okay, so the average book, even if you get a book deal with a top five publisher, not Barnes and Noble, uh, top five publisher like Little Brown Books, what's the other one? Something and something. If you get a wonderful book deal with a top five publisher, the average, I'm thinking of the right stat. I think it's 90%. I don't think it's more than half. I think it's 90%. 90% of authors sell fewer than 500 copies of their books. Okay. So I'm not saying that it's a guaranteed investment. I'm saying if you do some things, you can sell books in perpetuity. That is to me an investment. So I expect my book to make money for me for years to come that outweighs the money it costs me, right? But I've spent 4 years now growing a YouTube channel, growing an audience, growing an email list, hosting virtual events, speaking in virtual events, being all over the internet, right? So I expect my book to make money. That's an investment. And I expect it to pay off with book sales, with paid speaking engagements, with more book sales. Future books will sell off of the strength of this book. So investing is not only the stock market, right? We know real estate, there have been times when real estate investing outperformed the stock market. There have been times when the stock market outperformed real estate. But both of these are places where people are investing their money, putting money so that it'll pay them back. That's all, that's investing. Investing, putting money in a thing so it'll pay you back. That can be a source or sources of job-free income. I guess my YouTube channel would also be an investment platform because I have videos that I made 2 years ago that are still bringing me money every month. So, investing, job-free income, step number, or not step, these aren't steps, but job-free income option number 2 is investment. Some take a long time to pay off. I'm expecting my Vanguard account to take quite a while before it's going to pay off. But my YouTube channel paid me back in a couple years, right? I expect my book to pay me back in a few weeks, right? The money that I put into the book, I expect to make that back and more with the book being out just a few weeks or a few days, right? So investments. Any other kind of investment I'm not thinking about, we haven't mentioned? Yeah, Beatrix. The vast majority of writers, like actors, are not making a living solely through their art. That's right. Some of that is predatory deals, predatory middlemen, right? Being an actor or an author who has a publisher or a studio or whatever means you have a middleman who's taking a big old chunk, especially for a writer, especially for a writer. They're taking a huge chunk of that money. If you don't have an audience, it might make sense to have a published book through. Thank you for this, for Simon and Schuster. Thank you for helping me. Right, right. You may have if you have nobody to buy a book today, it may make sense for you to have a publisher. But if you know somebody, if you know more than 200 people who would buy your book today, and share with somebody else, and you can parlay that into more than 500 sales. So serious. I don't think a publisher is the way to go. I don't think these major publishers with these predatory deals are the way to go. Right? This is a different subject. We've talked about this on my second channel, which is called Stephanie Perry Media. We've talked about that over there. Middlemen. They're all middlemen, right? Sometimes the middleman is helpful because the middleman can give you access to other things, but you shouldn't solely rely on the middleman. I don't think you should solely rely on a job for income in 2023. I don't think anybody would say that's the right move. Unless you're making enough money that you can invest it. No, because then you're still investing. Yeah. I don't think anybody would say solely rely on a job for income. right? Same with being an author. I don't think you should solely rely on a book publisher to make income. I don't think as an actor you should solely rely on these studios to make income. It's got to be something else, right? I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Okay. Ah, Lenora, I'm working on writing a couple of books right now. I need to get them finished. Yeah, I think when we view, did you also, Lenora, answer a retirement number? When we start thinking about, no, you didn't. I don't think you gave an age for retirement. Was that the dogs? Dogs were barking. Lenora said somebody's trying to get my attention. They don't bark very much. They're very good dogs. They're very good. Um, I lost my thought. Let me get focused. What did you say that I said? Yeah, need to get them finished. Yeah. If you're considering these books as a source of retirement, right, as a source of retirement income, maybe that'll help you make progress towards finishing them. Okay? So we're talking first about focusing on job free income by cutting out the middleman. Job free income, right? Doing what you do without a boss, a job, a middleman. Or investing to make money to pay you back. Is there any kind of investing that I didn't cover that not cover? I'm not covering anything. I'm mentioning any kind of investing that we haven't talked about that you want to make sure that the women in this audience know about. Real estate, I don't know anything. My dad had a comfortable retirement, or is having. He's still here. He's still retired. A nice, comfortable retirement based on, well, I guess two things: a job that he retired with. The job paid him fine, and his retirement was also funded by real estate investing. Okay. Yeah, so baby girl H2O, think in terms of legacy, the things you create that live on without you physically. Yeah, to me, when people talk about legacy, well, I think we're talking about after death, but I'm talking about before, right? I want my payoff now, right? I want my payoff before I'm gone, right? I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And so we also want to look at ways that will pay us today without working. House Sitter School is that for me, right? House Sitter School, the link to House Sitter School is in the description of this video, as well as the link for the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge. So if you're watching from the future, hello friends in the future, I hope it's amazing there. Go ahead to the description of this video and you'll see all of the links. Yeah, so House Sitter School is that for me. I made House Sitter School and put it up on the internet for money. Now, when I talk about it, people buy House Sitter School for money, but I don't do anything extra. I don't do anything. It's done. It's done, right? That's a course, right? That's what digital courses do. I've made a whole bunch of videos talking about house sitting. And when I am in those videos, I point people to House Sitter School. The House Sitter Toolkit is my free toolkit, housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit, housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit. When you get my House Sitter Toolkit, then you get the link to House Sitter School if you want it, if you need it. House Sitter School is not required to start house sitting, okay? You can do it on your own. But if you want some extra support, House Sitter School is there. But I did that one time, right? People would call that passive income. I'll use the term passive income at times, but it's not the most accurate description because to sell House Sitter School, I still need to talk about house sitting. I still need to make YouTube videos about house sitting. I still need to send my email list information, right? Emails, which is what you do. So, but it is more passive. It doesn't require my time. House Sitter School no longer requires my time. It just required one block of time, and then it keeps selling over and over and over, right? Like as I said, a lot of people call that passive income, but you do need to market your stuff, whatever it is, a product, a service, a book. You need to market it, okay? But you don't need to fulfill it over and over again. One-time fulfillment. House Sitter School was a one-time thing for me, and it continues to make money. I talked about the affiliate link that I have with Trusted House Sitters. That took me a few minutes to get, right? A few minutes to sign up for. But when I use it, I get paid. When you use it, thank you for that. I get paid, right? So investment is putting some money into a thing. Investment. You can invest your time too. I'm going to say time and money. I'm going to put both. Investing time and money into a thing so that it will pay you off. We're not talking about gambling, right? There's a difference between investing and gambling. I think there's a lot of talk about things that are gambling, right? But there are enough types of investments out in the world that have a track record that will pay you off over time. If you don't have an audience of people to buy your book and you have no indication that anyone is interested in your book, then maybe for you, writing a book is more like gambling than investing, okay? But if you take the time to talk your talk all over the internet, grow an audience of people, communicate with your audience of people regularly, then instead, writing a book is more like investing. Some things could be both, either or, depending on how you approach them. Okay? Shelby Mac, hi. Yes, enjoying the fruits of my labor. Love my freelance life. Yeah, freelancers. Freelancing is underutilized. A lot of people freelance for people who used to be their employer. Like go back and do the work for them freelance. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I started as a virtual assistant, and virtual assistant work was like freelance. You are a freelancer. A virtual assistant is a freelancer, and I did work for people. I set my hours. I set my rates. I set the parameters of what work I do and what work I don't do. Now, I didn't set my rates high enough. Okay. I didn't set my hours tight enough. But, you live and learn. That's easy. It's easy to raise your rates. It's so easy to raise your rates. Yes, you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor. A lot of what we do for an employer, we could do for ourselves. Or even not for an employer. A lot of what you do for your friends and family, you could do for yourselves. Okay? All right. Okay, I said it. Okay. Franchising. This a thing I know nothing about. Hi, Barbara. Freedom Quest. Is that something you do? Years ago, I looked at something. I don't remember it. I don't know how this happened, but I went to a thing about franchising. And there were some franchise restaurants at the time that you could do for like $50,000. And I'm like, I could put that on a credit card I could put my credit cards together and do that. I got 50K in available credit, right? Like it surprised me how low the entry was into some franchises, but this was probably 15 years ago, right? 15 years ago, at least. Yeah. And does anybody do this? Is this a thing that anyone's into? Yeah. Investing, finding something that you can invest your money in that will pay you back more. Some people's investments pay them back more quickly. Some people's investments pay them back more slowly. I think most people would say you want to mix it up. You want something that's going to pay you a little quicker, something that's going to pay you a little slower. Mix it up, right? Mix it up. You don't want to. What we don't want to do is put all our eggs in one basket. Nobody would advise you that. Hi, Cassandra. How do you track and plan with multiple income streams without spending as one goes without a reserve? Oh, create reserves. So I have what, 6 different bank accounts, right? Put the money in different places. uh, Without spending as you go, without a reserve. Have reserves, right? Put the money in. every dollar that I make is divided up. Every dollar that I get into my main bank account gets divided up. I put 5% into a travel fund. I put 25% into tax withholding. I put 30% into business expenses, right? And I put 20% into living expenses for every single dollar, right? Every dollar. I put some money into my giveaway money. I have an account that's just blow it. Give this money away, right? So keep it, I have to keep it separate or I'm gonna use it all. Okay. So I have to keep it separate so I don't see it all as available. I don't know if I'm answering your question. How do you track and plan? But that's it. That's it. Tracking and planning with multiple income streams is for me the same as with one, same as when I had a job. What is this money's path? Where is this money going? Adelia says every dollar should have a job. What is this money's job? And it's the same for me. It's the same. There's no special, it's no different. Just because it's coming from multiple streams doesn't mean it's still money and it still goes into the same place. Still goes into the main same account. And then I divvy it up as needed. I'm reading this again and again. I don't know. If I didn't answer this, Cassandra, ask me again. Thank you for putting the cues in front of there so I know it was a question. Thank you for doing that. If I didn't answer it, ask me again. I think I answered it. Yes, right. Brown girls invest too. You need buckets of money allocated for particular projects or goals. That's right. So with my main bank, with USAA, I have 5 accounts, and then I have a separate high interest savings account, and then I have the investment account comes with a brokerage account, right? So mostly it's like, do I want to not see this money? Is my high yield savings account. Adelia taught us to put the money for next year into your high yield savings account. And so that's what, that's money that I don't want to see or touch, but I have a high interest savings account. It's like 5%. It's not bonkers. But that money I don't want to touch is there. And then my other money, I see every time I look at my USAA account. Okay? Yeah, keep it separate, less stress, less temptation. Can I do a video on investing? No, I cannot. I can point you to some videos on investing. Let me do that. No, I cannot. Listen, basics. I'm doing the basics. I'm doing what my dad taught me back when I got my job at Christiana Care in 20, in what year would that have been? 2010? No, maybe Barclays. I guess when I went to Barclays in 2005, he's like, okay, here's how much you put in here. Listen, no. But let me point you to Adelia. Let me point you to a couple of different channels. Adelia is Picky Girl Travels the World. Hopefully she's got a full um, playlist. Let's see if we can find a playlist for beginning investors. Picky Girl Travels the World, playlists. Financial tips and strategies. Okay, I'm going to give you this link to this playlist. Taxes, oh shit, money, catch up with your retirement, get financially ready to quit your job. This is the playlist. This is it. This is it. This is it. Okay? Uh, thank you. Okay, that's enough. Don't come over here barking, okay? It's too loud. The mic is on. All right? So this is Adelia's playlist on finances and investing. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the chat now because I will forget. Okay? Boom. Drop it in the, and then I'm going to also give you a Rashida Doe. She should also have one. Rashida Doe. All right. No, Doe. Dough. Playlist. She's got an early retirement playlist as well. Copy, paste. Boom. Okay, friends. Okay, so I've dropped two people who I would go to for information. You don't want, I'm not here to give you the info, teach you how to do money things. I'm just here to have money conversations. Normally, I would have one of them or someone else on as a guest to do the lifting. Okay, I'm just here to introduce you. I'm here to introduce you to a thing. Don't nobody want me as their financial advisor, financial expert. Okay, all right. I'm just here to tell you this is a thing that I'm doing, and I'm here to tell you where I've learned these things. These are two people that I've gone to for good information. Money Coach Malika. Okay, so thank you, friends. Okay, look in the chat. The chat is telling you. Okay, so Money Coach Malika. Malika, I'm about to go over to your channel. Do you have a playlist on starting investing? Playlists. Friends, as a YouTube coach, please make playlists on the basics, right? Financial independence, money tips for women. I'm going to link to Malika's financial independence playlist. Copy. INDEPENDENC. Do you know what that means? Okay. All right, and I've linked to them also in the description already. Okay, so those playlists are in the description of this video also. Okay, so yes, this is what we do. We invest to get free of jobs. Why do we want to get free of jobs? These jobs ain't loyal. Listen, the United States, capitalism in general, is not set up for you to win as the worker. It's not set up for you to have a whole life. It's not set up in the United States, it's not set up for you to even be comfortable and cared for as a worker. At least in some countries, capitalism, their version of capitalism includes things like healthcare and education and some other stuff. Here, you're not getting that, okay? And so, or not here, I'm not in the US. Thank you, I'm in Costa Rica. But in the US, you're not getting that. There is not the job promise is not being fulfilled, right? So we're told that there's a promise. You find a job, a good job, you do well in that good job, and that good job will take care of you. Not true. Absolutely not true. Probably hasn't been true for quite a while, if it ever was for Black women, right? There are people who were able to benefit from a good job and live a good life. But I don't know that Black women have ever been included in that promise. And so, first thing we wanted to talk about today was focusing on job-free income. So we've talked about two different versions of that, investing and working, but working without a middleman. So freelancing, consulting, entrepreneurship, right? Paths to income without a middleman. Okay? So yeah, these jobs ain't loyal, right? Uh, we don't need to pretend like they are, and we don't need to be loyal to them. Reciprocity, okay? Reciprocity. Treat them like they treat you. That's for everything. That's for jobs. That's for countries. That's for relationships. Treat them like they treat you. If you can't rely on your job to provide for you, in your old age, after giving 30 years to it, you shouldn't be committing to the job for 30 years. If you're working a job where you still know that once you stop working, once you retire, you're not going to be provided for, you should not be loyal to that job. You should be working on ways to get yourself out of that position. Maybe some of you will still stay there, but that job shouldn't be the focus. There's got to be another stream. streams, right? I generally don't use income streams. I like income rivers personally. I like the term income rivers. I made a video about it because I think it's easier. I'm gonna always do the easiest way, okay? It's easier when your income comes from one thing. It's just a variety of paths, right? So I counted off 7 different income streams that I have, but they all flow from the river of being a house sitter, right? My YouTube channel money, my house sitter school money, even Exodus Summit. That money is because I'm a house sitter and I teach you how to be a house sitter. So income rivers, okay? We've been talking about separating ourselves from our job for income purposes, right? Having income from a source other than a job. So investing, going out on your own. Those are the ways that we do that. Okay. I'd like to just mention severance. This is a conversation I can't have. I don't know anything about getting a severance package. I still feel like I left money on the table when I worked for MBNA back in the day and Donna Hafner harassed me out of that job. I still feel like every time someone mentions it, I'm like, I know I left money on the table. But there is a source where you can go to learn about getting severance from an employer who is whether it's just because it's time for you to go or if it's a situation that has been a hostile work environment. It doesn't need to be a hostile work environment for you to be able to negotiate a severance, okay? So I'm going to point you to the anti-HR lady, Anne Marie. Her YouTube channel is anti-HR lady, okay? She does workshops. Kimani's here. They have a workshop. Hold on, I highlighted the wrong thing. Hello. They have a workshop that you can watch, a replay to a workshop that you can watch on this specific thing, on getting severance and healing from a toxic, hostile work environment. Getting severance from and healing from a toxic, hostile work environment. I keep saying toxic when I mean hostile. Okay? Toxic is not illegal, but hostile is. That's what Anne-Marie taught me, okay? Hostile is illegal. Hostile comes with the pesos. They got to pay you for that, all right? There are resources. Let's see. Let's see if her channel links the replays. Not off. Oh, Masterclass replay. Let me click on the link first to make sure. Exit from a discriminatory hostile workplace with your coins. Okay, here is the replay to that particular masterclass. Okay, Anne-Marie and Dr. Kimani were here and talked to us about this not very long ago. I'm putting that in the description. Hostile workplace masterclass. That sounds like it's a masterclass on how to have a hostile workplace, but it's on how to exit. I'll go back and fix that later. Okay? So, severance, I just want to talk about this because I feel like we don't talk about it enough, and I feel personally like I left money. I know I left money on the table, and I don't want that for you. I want you to get every nickel that you're owed. So, we're going to list this on a way to have income without a job. Okay. Plus, I got to talk to someone just this week. Had a one-on-one call with someone just this week who got some coins from a severance package. I don't even think hers was related to a hostile workplace. I think it was just, listen, I'm ready to go. What's my severance? I think that's what she told me. I may be remembering that wrong. I think it was just like, listen, you want me to leave? I want to leave. Pay me and I'll leave. Okay. So yeah, I just want to bring that up because we don't talk about it enough. It's real and it's a choice. It's an option. It is an option out there. Okay. Living a life of lounging. Auntie Trey done changed her name. Hey, Auntie Trey. Grand Rising, great topic. Thank you. I'm freelancing to navigate out of corporate right now. It's exhausting, but it'll pay off. I need to establish better boundaries. Yeah, freelancing in the beginning, hard, right? You got to get your wheels churning. Hopefully, we're doing some sort of freelancing that can give us either repeat clients or big dollars per project. That's what I did wrong. What I did wrong was I was doing things for people who weren't going to need me again, and I wasn't charging enough, right? Freelancing, the basics, what I know, the basics of freelancing is you want to do something where you're going to have repeat clients or monthly retainer or something. Or if not, if you're doing a one-shot thing, you're just like designing a full website, you need to charge the money. Charge the money, okay? We need to make it the money. Yes. Okay. So Janae is reminding me that Team Zekas, who is the founder of Getting Black Women Paid, is another resource in this work. If you're talking about making more money on the job you have or on the next job that you're going to, Team Zekas, Getting Black Women Paid, she was a speaker at Exodus Summit 2022 and 2023. If you have the replays of Exodus Summit 2022, or 2023 or both, watch them. Okay. And do what she says. She knows how to get you the salary you deserve, how to help you negotiate the terms that are favorable to you. If you don't yet have your replays to Exodus Summit 2022 and 2023, I'm going to link to them here. Exodus Summit 22 is Exodus Summit 2023 is exodussummit.com. Exodus Summit 2022, which was Move Abroad Money, all about making money, is a different link, which I don't have. Actually, when you go to Exodus Summit 2023, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, you'll see the link for 2022. Okay? All right. Yes. All right. We are not going to leave money on the table with our employers if we can help it. I understand sometimes you just need to go, right? Sometimes you just need to get out of that job. I understand that. But I seriously do wish I had gotten some. I know I would have gotten some severance if I had just talked to a person above her or HR. They would have been like, we need to pay this woman and get her out of here before she raises a fuss. Listen, let's pay this girl and send her on her way, because if she raises a fuss, it's going to be a problem. I feel like that. Okay. Okay. How are we doing? Yeah. Finding Natalie. I was so relieved when they laid me off. I cared about nothing but the severance convo. That's right. I get it. I totally get it. Yeah. I don't know if you can. I don't know anything about severance. So Anne-Marie is the resource. Okay. But Um, yeah, Auntie Lou says same. She wishes she would have sued, but it was 20 years ago. I don't even know if I would have needed to sue. I wouldn't have needed to sue. All I would have needed to have done was talk to somebody above Donna Hafner and say, here's what she said to me and here's what she did to me. And they'd have been like, how much money do you want? Get out. Leave. Because a lawsuit, I'm not doing all that. Okay. I've never been the person who was going to sue. But I believe that they would have paid me to leave that job, because what she did was harassment and it was illegal. And if I had chosen to sue, it would have been a big stink. It would have been too much. So they would have paid me to leave. I sincerely believe that. I just didn't know. I was 22, 23, right? I didn't know. What did I know? Nothing. Nothing. Okay. The ABX girl, severance is if you're laid off, HR will compute weeks. Oh, somebody must have asked what severance is. Yeah, severance comes for a variety of reasons, right? A severance package can come because the business is going under and they're letting people go early, and they're saying, listen, we'll pay you 3 months salary. We got to let you go. Severance can come in lieu of or because of a lawsuit. Severance can come just because there are people who've gotten severance just because they've worked X number of years at this place and they're ready to go. No, there was nothing bad that happened. Listen, I'm quitting. I think this is probably not, I don't know. My impression of that is that it happens with tech companies, right? Oh, Kimani says I'm an affiliate. In the description, I'll find my affiliate link and drop that in there. Thank you, Kimani. She's so over me. She is so sick of me. Girl, you have an affiliate link. Use the affiliate link. Okay. All right. Okay. So we've talked about the first and second buckets of getting why you probably won't have to work forever, right? Number one, job-free income. Number two, severance, which was a very light touch on a very heavy subject, right? So you'll need to get more information if you think this is a path for you. Follow up, get more information with the resources that I've listed in the description of this video, okay? Number three, reason that you may not need to work forever. The number three pathway can be less money life. Okay, so there's no approach to moneyless living, I don't think. Even our friend who lives off the grid, who is fairly fast, even fairly fast, who lives off the grid, needs money to live, I would assume, right? I'm assuming. We need money. That's the way our society has been set up, okay? But so we can't live moneyless, but we can live on less money. You already know the ways I'm going to say, okay? Number one, house sitting. Anybody here been house sitting for, a few weeks or months on back to back to back? I talked to somebody. Where was I? Was it in Panama? One of the women in Panama was house sitting. Was it Damaris? I don't know, but every time I've gone to a meetup lately, there's been someone there who has been house sitting for weeks and I mean for months and months and months, right? Back to back to back. That's a whole lot of money they have not had to spend on accommodation. So yes, house sitting works if you just want to take a nice vacation and stay in a beautiful home in a lake on a lake in Canada, right? Or in London or in Australia. House sitting works for that, for short periods of time. But house sitting can also be the way that you live. You can live as a house sitter. It's not going to pay you money. Most house sitters are unpaid, especially through the platform I use, Trusted House Sitters, right? House sitting is not a way to make money. House sitting is a way to spend a whole lot less money. So I'm in Costa Rica. I'm in San Jose. I'm in a nice condo unit. I'm in the same condo unit that I paid for October of 2022. After the summit, my mom and I came to Costa Rica, and then she left, and I stayed for a while. And I came to this exact condo unit. This exact condo unit. I paid for it. Now I'm house sitting for free. Same unit, right? I'm in building 14. I was in building 6, I think, or something like that. And the other side, there's two sides to it. Backs up to a river with a little bridge across it, right? Where the pool is. It's beautiful, beautiful, right? I paid to be here. And now I'm not paying to be here because of house sitting. One way that you can live on less money so that retirement can be much more realistic to you, either now or in the future, is house sitting. You can house sit now so that you can invest that money that you would put into an apartment or a house into something that's going to pay you back, right? You can also house sit as a retiree after retirement. Most house sitters are retired. In the US in particular, most house sitters are retirement age, right? I get picked for house sits a lot of times because I'm younger than 65, right? And people are like, oof, finally. But most house sitters are over 65 in the United States because they're the only ones with the opportunity. They're the only ones who can be like, oh, sure, I want to go to Costa Rica for a few days. I want to go to Chicago for a few days. I want to go to Palm Springs for a few weeks, right? House sitting means you can spend a whole lot less on accommodation. I haven't paid for a utility, ugh, since 2015. I haven't paid a utility bill. Once in a while, one time I did log into my parents' thing and pay theirs. One time, for old time's sake. I did pay the electric bill one time at my parents' house. I think once. I did log in. So one utility bill since 2015, since September 2015, right? That's money that I can invest. It's one of the reasons why I still have money to put into my investment account, my retirement account, right? Is that I don't have to pay for a place to stay. What if you're not fond of animals? Most house sits are pet sits. If you're not a friend of animals, you're not going to like house sitting. You're not going to like it, right? You saw the dog was just in my face, right? They're not just here, they're here, they're right. So if you're not a friend of animals, it may not work. There are house sits that are not pet sits, but they're few and far between. Now, every time I say that, people are like, no, I did one that didn't have pets. But I wouldn't rely on being a house sitter without pets through trusted house sitters because that's for pet owners. Now, do you know some realtors or do you have connects? Do you know some people who would want you to stay in their home who don't have pets? You can arrange this on your own. I would arrange it on my own. If that was me, I would find somebody and stay in their house for free and take care of it while they're gone. But through trusted house sitters, they are marketed to pet owners. And so it's just harder. You could do it. You can do it and people do it. But I would go through the realtor route. I don't know anything about the realtor route. And so we talked to Kimberly Traveler in the Chicago video, the video where it was like a live meetup. Kimberly Traveler was one of the guests who stopped in. I think she was one of the last ones. And that meetup got broken up into 3 separate videos because of the internet problems. I think she was on the last video. And she is a realtor and has realtor friends. And so she has house sat through that. I don't know anything about it. This is another thing I can't help you with. I'm here to guide. I'm here to direct you to resources, not give you the answer. So there are people who house sit through realtors. I've never done it. Janae says luxury house sitting has saved her a bag on travel. It has, right? JB, I only like cats, not dogs. No problem. Lots of people have only cats. I'm the next house sit I'm going to. I just finished a house sit that's a kitten, and I'm going back to that house sit on December 1st. One kitten in the whole condo, right? In the whole house. One kitten. Yeah. Do I keep my house? I did not. Some people do. You decide. I didn't. Listen, I'm not made to be a landlord. I'm not made to have, in my mind, being a landlord, like I said, my dad was a landlord for years and years and years. In my mind, being a landlord is just a constant worry sitting on your chest. Maybe I'm wrong, and some people have done it without being a. I don't enjoy that feeling, and I don't want that feeling. I chose not to keep my house, but people do. People do. No, I want to be free. I am a floater. I like to feel like I'm floating in life. There's a lot of talk about feeling grounded. I can't relate. I can't relate. I don't have a desire to feel grounded. I don't like feeling grounded. I'm a floater. And so I didn't keep my stuff. I kept nothing. Well, I did fill my parents' closet in the upstairs room, the guest room, which I made into my room. I did fill the closet up with stuff. Yeah, yeah. I guess that's probably why I paid it. I was like, while I'm up here, because when I stay at my parents' house, I'm upstairs, and they're everything else is downstairs. They never go upstairs. So I'm like, well, I guess that's the least. I guess it was the least I could do. I pay one electric bill in what 6 years? 6 years of spending at least. I've probably been there for at least 1 month every year for 6 years. And during the pandemic, I was there like like not the whole pandemic because we're still in the pandemic, but like for quite a while during the pandemic. I paid one electric bill. Listen, when I say the least I could do, I mean the least. I'm doing as little as possible. Okay? Yeah, so house sitting through trusted house sitters is not a way to do it if you're not a friend of animals. But you could still possibly house sit. I'm just not the resource for that. I don't know. I don't know, girl. I don't know how, but somebody's doing it. Okay? Okay, Nick Jones, house sitting. I'm house sitting right now in Denver. And how long, okay, so Nick, are you house sitting as in you house sit full time back to back? Or are you doing in in, intermittent house sitting? I'm looking for questions. Oh, spicy introvert. Yesterday was day number 1 of my personal leave. I'm navigating unknown territories, but need to rest. Congratulations. Welcome to day 2. Welcome to day 2 of spicy introvert time. Welcome. Yeah, I hope you are resting. And then more rest on top of it. Pinky says, I house sat for 3 months straight immediately after I joined Trusted House Sitters. I loved it, especially the San Francisco gig. Good. Yeah. Okay. So house sitting as a way to live on less money, right? Again, not talking moneyless living. We're talking less money living. House sitting is a path to that Black women are out here doing. Okay, here, I've been sassy travel goddess. I've been house sitting back to back. Okay, so there are some here. Maybe we'll talk about this again soon. Some of us have no home to go back to, right? When we're done house sitting, we got to go to our mom's house or something, right? I got to go to my mom and dad's house. You got to go to your brother's house, something. I tried to arrange that years ago and it didn't work out. You got to go somewhere. Um, or just pay for a place to stay. Pay for a place to stay once you're done. House sitting is good for you today and for you in the future. For you today, it can save you the money that you would put towards accommodation. In the future, to invest, save that money to invest. Save that money so that money can make you more money, right? It's also really helpful to cut down your expenses as a retiree, right? Maybe you have a place where you just stay for 6 months at a time and you like home share. You know, I'm into the Golden Girl stuff. You know, I'm into Golden Girl stuff. Maybe as a retiree, you have a Golden Girl situation and you spend a good amount of time house sitting and home sharing so that you don't have to have your own place and your own expenses and your own landscape bill and all of that. House sitting, you know I love it. I'm still doing it, right? I'm talking about going and spending a whole bunch of money on this upcoming vacation, but I still house sit for free accommodation because I love it. I love not spending money on this place, right? I think I paid about $1,600 for the month when I stayed in the same unit, right? This month, how much am I spending on accommodation? Not a penny. Not a penny. I'm going from this house sit. I went from one house sit to another, went from one house sit to this one, and then I'm going back to that other house sit. All right. So I feel like my screen is just really unorganized today. So a way that we live on less money is house sitting. Okay. And then another way that we live on less money is we go to a new country. There's already a group called Flip the Zip, which talks about leaving expensive parts of the US to go to less expensive parts of the US. But those places that used to be popular on Flip the Zip are now places where people are like, I got to leave here. It's too expensive, right? There was a time when they were talking about going to Atlanta and Nashville. Those places are not inexpensive anymore. They're not inexpensive. Maybe they're still less expensive, or they are still less expensive than a New York or DC or San Francisco or LA, but these are not budget destinations. This is not a place where you can just live on hopes and dreams, okay? These places cost serious money. Every place costs serious money. Every place costs money, but there are places where you can live on a whole lot less and live a good life. Um, where's the best place I can point you to to enter if you're brand new to this conversation? Let me think on it. I'll think of the best playlist to point you to get started. But I'll say this: the less expensive places, the places that were cheap pre-pandemic, are more expensive today, but they're probably still cheaper than where you live, unless you live in a really, if you live in a really inexpensive part of the country. Like Cleveland, Cleveland is inexpensive, right? So for you, things leaving the country may be less about the cost of living and more about the better health care, the better weather, better food, that stuff. But Cost of living wise, places that were pre-pandemic really inexpensive are still less expensive than where you are probably, but not cheap, not dirt cheap. Okay, we're not talking about $200 a month living. Okay, but in Mexico, I think Guanajuato is still a relatively inexpensive place. There's a city called Morelia, which you're not going to like if you don't speak English. But if you don't speak Spanish, Morelia in Mexico, if you don't speak Spanish, you're not going to like Morelia. But I just adore Morelia. Um, I think Guanajuato is probably a little more accessible if you don't speak Spanish, but you're going to have to learn it. Guanajuato is not a place where you can just get by. It's just a place where if you need to use Google Translate, they'll be patient with you. You can use it. Um, so in Costa Rica varies by location. So some of these beaches are really expensive. People talk about they're coming to Costa Rica and it's so cheap, and it's not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where. I don't, these might be people who are coming from San Francisco. But Costa Rica is not cheap. I'm not here because Costa Rica is cheap, right? It fits other needs of mine, but I'm not here because it's cheap. But there are parts of Costa Rica where you can live on less I think up in the volcano areas, Arenal volcano areas. And then out past Cartago, the Cartago area is less expensive. But if you want to live on a beach, Costa Rica is not a cheap place to live on a beach, right? Hi, Ty Libra. Hi from Delaware. Okay, good. Hello, friend. Where in Delaware? Yeah, and Guanajuato is beautiful. I just brushed past it. Guanajuato is beautiful. Um, it's pretty easily accessible. There's an airport in the Bajío airport. It's easy to get back and forth to the Bajío airport from Guanajuato. And it's less expensive than the places that are more popular with Americans and Canadians, like San Miguel de Allende and Ajijic, Lake Chapala. So I really enjoyed my time in Guanajuato. People were very nice to me, and it's beautiful. I mean, the houses are just painted pastel colors. It's just beautiful. But yeah, and less expensive than like Mexico City, than Playa del Carmen, right? But not cheap. It's not dirt cheap. It's just a place where you can live well on less. Okay? I'm gonna store that for later. Okay. So the question from Mama Lynn was about where in the Caribbean. So there is a move of people repatting to Jamaica. I don't think Clarice is here this morning. Clarice, are you here? But I don't imagine Jamaica's for a life. So in Jamaica, you can move to Jamaica today and you can live in the hills. But I don't think that's what y'all are talking about when y'all are talking about moving abroad. So I don't know that there's a Caribbean place where you can live inexpensively. So that being said, so the Barbados, there are a couple of different groups of Black women who do Barbados, who like, there are a couple of Black women coaches who help Black women and families move to Barbados. Okay, that's enough. They don't speak English. These dogs speak Spanish, but they know what I'm saying. But oh, I'm from Newcastle. I graduated from William Penn. I graduated from William Penn in Newcastle, and I lived in Bear at one point. Um, I'm still trying to figure out the Caribbean. I guess Barbados. It's possible to live in Barbados on a relatively reasonably cheap budget. But we need to see, I need the women who do these coachings, right, to talk money. I don't know that they've talked money in a way that I have seen them talk money. So Jamila White, and there are two different ones. There's another woman. They're doing, um, they do coach women on moving to Barbados. They do, they're Costa Rican dogs. Okay, gracias, gracias. Yeah, I know. You told me. Yes, he wants me to know that there's somebody outside. Thank you. I know. You told me. You want to say hi to you too? No. Okay. Thank you. Um. Yeah, I know. I know. So they know what I'm saying. They know. Yeah, islands are expensive because they're islands. Okay. Islands are expensive. Everything needs to be brought in, shipped in. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to think, Mama Lynn. I'm trying to think. But okay, Barbados, say Yvonne McBride. I've never been to Barbados, right? I'm trying to guess based on other people's YouTube videos. Yvonne, Barbados is not cheap or cheaper than living in the US. Yeah, that's not so the Caribbean is not the answer for budget destinations. The Caribbean is, I want to live slow, right? I'm trying not to show some stuff, some of her personal stuff back here. I want to live slow. I put it all in a bundle behind me. I want to live slow. I want, you know, sunshine and blue skies. But it's not, I need to live on a serious budget. Um, but you can get Caribbean adjacent. So like Panama is also on the Caribbean, right? So Dominican Republic is probably the most inexpensive destination, but they're anti-black. Y'all saying, why are they anti-black? I don't know. What do you want me? I don't know. How do you want me to answer that question? I don't know what you mean. Why are they? I don't know why. I mean, because they're anti-black. You know, y'all don't know any Dominican people. I don't know what to tell you. Why are they anti-black? They just are. Um, they've had I, it may even be considered a genocide. They had a real push. There were Haiti and the Dominican Republic are touching, right? They're like Spain and Portugal. They go together, like the U.S. and Canada, right? They touch each other. So there are a lot of people from one side on the other side. There are a lot of Haitians in the Dominican Republic, and the Dominican Republic had a whole campaign, which makes it sound innocuous. A whole, I don't know if it was technically a genocide, but they killed and exported and did everything they could to get the black people out of the Dominican Republic. So I wouldn't choose it. I've never been there, but the Dominicans that you meet in the US are them same people, right? So in Mexico, there's a lot, people you meet in the US, Mexican people that you meet in the US may or may not be Mexican, first of all, okay? Because we will call all Latins Mexican. They may or may not be Mexicans, but there is a different, when they come to the US, they have to, or they're told to, not they don't have to, they are told to make sure that you separate yourself from other black people. You need to step on them to lift yourself up, which is why we've seen a lot of Mexican people in the US who are also anti-black. But that has not been my experience in Mexico, and it's not the experience of my homegirls who live in Mexico. There's a good percentage of the Exodus Summit squad who is living in Mexico or who has spent significant time in Mexico, months and months at a time in Mexico. There's a different people, right? Just like I talk about the Irish people in Ireland are different from Irish people in the US. Irish Americans are the worst people, okay? Of all the bad people in the US, Irish Americans are the worst people. Whereas you go to Ireland, they have a reputation for being some of the most open and good people in the world, right? There's a difference. But Dominicans, I don't think there's a difference. I don't. They seem to be the same people. The Filipinos are also the same people. People from the Philippines in the United States, some of the best people in the country. Some of the best American people are people of Filipino descent. They have been so good to me personally. That's just, I'm one person, but they are good people in the country. And so when you go to the Philippines, you expect them to also be good people. And you're right, they're good people. Um, Mexicans, different, right? Mexican Americans are very different from Mexican people. Um, Dominicans, the same, right? They the same. Colorist, racist, Same people. Okay? I don't know. Why? I can't answer why. Why is anybody anti-black? Because because it benefits them. Because it benefits them. Yeah, I've not been to the Dominican Republic. I got a cousin who lives it up down there when she goes. I have not been, but I wouldn't. Okay, so what we're talking about, let me get back on track then. What we're talking about is the Caribbean. So there are places in the Caribbean where you can live on a budget. Dominican Republic is one of them. Um, and then, or you could just get on the Caribbean side of Central and South America. So Panama, Costa Rica has a Caribbean side, which I haven't been to yet. Uh, all of these, like, so that's Caribbean looking. Panama looked very Caribbean to me. The little bit I saw looked very Caribbean to me. You can live out your Caribbean life down there, but be in Panama, which is not an island. Okay, that was a long answer to it's expensive. Islands are expensive. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Philippines. That's funny, Bibi. Yeah, the people in the Philippines, wonderful, but it was no surprise. I've had people in the Philippines I've had Filipino people be very good to me. I've worked in hospitals as a pharmacy technician. I've worked in hospitals with lots of nurses from the Philippines, lots of nurses from the Philippines, and lots of nurses from Jamaica, and they've been good to me, right? So that tells me enough. That makes me think, oh yeah, yeah, you're gonna find good people there, right? Uh, yeah. I believe in, if you haven't caught on, I believe in stereotyping. Okay. It saves me time. I like to do as little as possible. And so I extrapolate sometimes from a few experiences. I will extrapolate a general feeling of things. And with people, it works out a lot. It works out a lot. When people, was Oprah saying? People show you who they are, believe them. Okay, so we can't talk moneyless living, but we can talk living on less money, house sitting, moving to a new country. Okay, if you think that healthcare is a reason you won't be able to retire, or you won't be able to take a sabbatical, you won't be able to quit your job for a while, maybe what you just need is access to healthcare in another country. Most countries. I'm going to say, I think the US is the only country, but there may be a handful of others. Okay. So I'm going to say this, but understand that I'm not saying literally only, but probably literally. I really do believe we're literally the only country in the world that ties your access to healthcare to your job status. I believe that. Okay. I've never heard anybody else say it works this way for them. But there might be one, right? So if there's one other country, if you want to move to, it wouldn't be in Europe, I know that. If you want to move to, I can't even think of where an example would be. Maybe in Asia. It could be an Asian country, right? Maybe Japan. I don't know. Maybe in Japan, you have your healthcare access is tied to your job status. Don't get mad at me if that's how it is. Um, you will find that when you go to another country, you can get good quality health care for pennies on the dollar sometimes. Pennies on the dollar. Um, because other countries have a real goal of taking care of people. They really see a benefit in having a healthy population. The United States has a view of like, how much can I suck out of you? So we can't be healthy, or how are the drug companies supposed to make money, right? We can't be healthy, or we can't have walkable cities, or how are the gas and petroleum and oil companies supposed to make money, right? But there are countries where your health care is important to the country, and it is much more accessible. So, what I'm saying is, if healthcare is a reason that you think you won't be able to retire, or a reason you won't be able to take a career break, Just plan on being in a country that will give you access to their healthcare system. Some countries will give you access if you get temporary or permanent residency. So Google some countries where you qualify for temporary or permanent residency. Some countries even give access to people who are on a student visa. France, Tiffany taught us this. Tiffany went to France on a student visa to study French, and that student visa required that she get on their healthcare system, their national healthcare system. Countries have nationalized healthcare. In France, it's called Social Security in French. Social. Grey Poupon. And so you get healthcare, you get access. I'm pretty sure in Panama, even tourists, what is it? Something about Panama? In Panama, even tourists get access to national health care. Don't quote me on that. And that may have changed. But there was a time when even as a tourist going into Panama, you got something that gave you access to health care, right? Costa Rica has universal health care. I'm not a resident of Costa Rica yet. I'm still here on a tourist visa, so I'm not a resident yet. So I don't have access to it yet. But they have they have a digital nomad visa, and they have the other visa that are not ridiculously difficult to get. So you can stay in Costa Rica, get access to health care, and not feel like it's a reason that you have to work your life away in the US. Okay? Oui, oui. Je m'appelle Michel. Parlez français. Okay? All right. I'm just looking through the comments. Cassandra says even the food and water are comparably toxic in the U.S. Yeah, I like in Delaware. I'll drink water from the sink, and they look at me like, "Stop drinking that stuff." Stop. And this is the United States of America, right? United States of America, where they're like, no, you don't drink that water. Meanwhile, when I was in Curacao, they were like, we have the best water in the world, right? It's spring water, something, something, something. They were like, our water is even better than whoever they said had the best reputation. Grenada? Aruba? I don't know. They're like, we won. Our water is even better than Aruba or whatever other country it was. I was like, okay, go girl. Go girl. Yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. GNIC 09. I'm from the Caribbean. Food and utilities will be more expensive living near a beach. Yeah. Yeah. The Caribbean is not where we go for a budget destination. I would say Latin America, parts of Europe, Asia. There are parts of Europe that are still relatively inexpensive. Some of those former Soviet countries, I think. I think, and then Asia, a good portion of Asia is still relatively inexpensive. Um, yeah, not the Caribbean is not that. All right, where are we on my list? I don't see any other comments. Any questions? I mean, uh, New Life Curator. When I broke my wrist in England, I got care at the ER, and they gave me a taxi fare. They gave you taxi fare back to the house. I know people in the UK always make fun of us because the ambulance costs money. They do always. It's a thing they always joke about when they're like, "Ugh, Americans," right? They can't believe an ambulance costs money. And that's why a lot of people will just stay home when they have some sort of medical emergency. Will just ride it out because not only can they not afford the care, but they can't even afford the ride to the hospital. That's wrong. That's not how we should be living our lives. Not in what's supposed to be a developed country. That doesn't sound very developed, right? It doesn't sound very world leaderish. But yeah, it's not like that in a lot of places. I mean, in a lot of places, healthcare is designed to be accessible to the people there, right? And they don't really understand why we don't go. Why we don't just go to the doctor. What are you doing? What do you mean? What do you mean? You're just gonna stay home and see what happens. What do you mean? Yeah. So Portugal is relative for Europe, for Western Europe. Okay, for compared to London, Lisbon is relatively inexpensive, but I wouldn't put Portugal on the cheap list. It's just not London, right? Not Berlin's probably pretty expensive. It's not Amsterdam, right? Everything is relative. So Portugal, for Europe, for Western Europe, Portugal is relatively inexpensive. Okay, but that doesn't mean it's cheaper than where you live today. Okay, Europe is expensive. London, ugh, London, London is ridiculously expensive. So it's just relative to Western Europe, right? If you want to live in Europe and be doing European things, all right, drinking espresso for breakfast, right? Portugal is a good choice, but it's not. We're not talking about Guanajuato prices. Okay, we're not talking. What's the other place I just named? The other place. Okay, be aware. Do your work. Do your Googles. So we have a new house sitter toolkit. If I can find the link really quickly, I'll share it with you. We have a new house. No, it's not a new house sitter toolkit. It's the Work from Anywhere toolkit that gives you a calculator, gives you links to some calculators that show you cost of living in some places. Okay, cost of living in some places by calculator. So get the Work from Anywhere toolkit. You can get it. You can go to exodushomecoming.com/toolkit or exodussummit.com/toolkit and get the Work from Anywhere toolkit, and you will see cost of living calculators that talk about um, okay, what different places, what things cost in different places. He barks and then he comes in to tell me. I heard you. I did hear you. I have ears. Yeah, I heard it. I heard it. Okay. So, but there are places in Eastern Europe, I guess we call it, that are inexpensive on anybody's scale, right? Some of those countries are inexpensive, period. Not just inexpensive for Europe, but inexpensive, period. Inexpensive, and they can be very beautiful. Black women love Tbilisi, Georgia. Black people love Georgia, the nation of Georgia. It's one of the places that has a reputation for being inexpensive and a nice place. My one-on-one calendar is at vicarious.com/call me. Vicarious.com/call me. Yes, Raquel, flying free. Surprisingly, there are many cities in France that are inexpensive, less than $1,000 for a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. Yeah, um, yeah. So you just need to look around. Okay, come in. See, yes, and now he's back to tell me that there's something there. I saw it. Um, yeah, look around. Get your cost of living calculators from the toolkit, from the Work from Anywhere toolkit, and poke around. See what things cost. Some things will surprise you. Some things will surprise you. Even Paris is not crazy expensive, right? Like you would think. If London, like, why is London so expensive? Well, first of all, the UK is an island. We just talked about islands being expensive, but London is crazy expensive, like stupid. It's stupid, right? London is crazy expensive, and so you would think Paris too, but Paris is not that. It's not that, right? So, yeah. We look around on our calculator. Yeah, not as, so Janae's saying not as expensive. So with Portugal, it's important to put it in context, right? Portugal is not a $1,600 a month place, right? There are places where you can live in the world on Social Security, and the average Social Security check in the U.S. is somewhere around $1,600 or $1,800, right? There are places like that, but I don't think that's Lisbon. I don't think that's Lisbon. There may be towns in Portugal where you can live well on $1,600 or $1,800 a month, and there probably are. There are, but it ain't Lisbon, right? No. I don't know. So that, right, this, you got to do your work. You got to do your. I don't know. Is the Republic of Georgia okay? How close is it to the Ukraine? I don't know, girl. I don't know. I'm so serious about that. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm just looking. Okay. I'm just going back through for questions. I think we covered it, right? We covered what I came to cover, or we didn't cover anything. We discussed what I wanted to discuss, and I pointed you to other places to get it covered. Okay, that's what we did today. We talked about how to reframe. If you think you'll need to work forever, how can we shift that into no, you don't? Okay. Number one, we're focusing on job-free income, which can be freelancing or taking your talents to the market, can be investing. I don't think we didn't come up with a third one, right? We talked about severance. I guess that would be the third, okay? We talked about less money living. So we can't live on moneyless living, I don't think. Not in the world the way it's established today. But we can live on less money, and that's house sitting and moving to a new country. Oh, I do want to talk quickly about mini retirements. Mini retirements. If you do seriously think that you're going to have to work for the rest of your life, right? None of these other things are going to work. No investment is going to get to the point where it's going to be able to support you, right? You're not going to be able to make money off away from a job, and you're going to work forever. Then at least you should be working towards having serious blocks of time where you don't work. Mini retirements. If you don't think you're going to do a full whether you think you're going to do a full retirement or not, you should be working on mini retirements. I mean that. I mean that. You should be working on it. Sabbaticals, career breaks, mini retirements. What else do people call them? Gap years. This should be a part of your life. You should have serious, significant blocks of time as an adult where you don't work, where you decide what you do and what you don't do, where you go and you don't go, what you see, who you spend time with, how you connect with yourself, get to know yourself. That is a thing that I think all Black women should be working on, okay? Especially those of you who are seriously thinking, I'm never going to retire. I'm not going to retire. Okay, but how much money do you need to not work for a year? Serious question. And then how do you get that money so you don't work in 2025 or 2026? Seriously, so serious. Quite a few. I did it in 2015. It cost me $14,400 to not work for the year of 2015, and that money, and that was before I knew about house sitting. I wasn't house sitting back then. I was staying in hostels and stuff, and doing work exchanges in exchange for free accommodation, free room and board. I was not house sitting. That was before I knew about that. I wasn't getting totally free places to stay unless I did a work exchange, and I only did 2 or 3 months of work exchanges. 2 months, I think 2 months, 2 months total of work exchanges. So many retirements, sabbaticals, gap years, career breaks. These are things that I think all Black women should be working on. In particular, those of you who really don't think you're going to be able to retire. Okay, put a pin in that, because as you know, we just talked for 2 hours about why I think you're wrong, but put a pin in that. At least let's work on a year where you don't work. Go back and get a job. You can go back and get a job. My job hired me back. The same job I quit hired me back. or they offered me the job. I don't know how to say that. They offered me my job back. I didn't take it. I went to a different hospital. I was like, I knew I wasn't going to be there long. I was like, I don't want to burn them twice. Let me go to a different hospital. Plus, the other hospital was closer to my parents' house. Um, you can get a job. If you quit a job, you can get a job. Don't you think? So if you're not going to work on a retirement, can you work on a career break, a sabbatical, a gap year, a mini retirement? Work on that first. It might open up, that free time may open up a possibility where you be like, oh, look at this, a path to retirement right in front of my face, right? I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for my sabbatical, for my gap year. Hold on, Myra, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't have these 7 income rivers, right? I wouldn't have this income river of YouTube and coaching and Exodus Summit and stuff and pretending the book soon come, right? I wouldn't have that if it wasn't first for that gap year, for that sabbatical, for that year where I didn't work, that year where I got to re-envision a life for myself. It all started with 1 year where I didn't have a job. 1 year of travel and meeting people and doing nothing. All of that, all of my life today is a direct result of that year. So even if you still think you're never going to retire and you're going to work till you're dead, even if you still think that, you should still be working on a career break, a sabbatical, a gap year, a retirement. You don't know how it could change you. I don't know how it could change you, right? Even if you come back and still go back to work and work until you're dead, you have had that year where you didn't. You had that year where it was all about doing what you wanted to do. Okay? All right, so let's get back to the question, Myra. Hold on, let me drink some water. Hello, Myra J. What or which one do you recommend if you haven't started any channel or any online business yet? I'm trying to figure out an out. Which one do I recommend? Are you asking me channel or business? Both. Okay, a channel is a way that you market your business. What kind of business? I don't know, Myra. What do you do? And what do you want to do? Serious question. What do you do and what do you want to do? Maybe you answered that. Let me look for another answer. Friends, so Rashida and I, if you have a couple of ideas for a thing that you could do online for money, and you need to narrow out the ideas before you can work on a way to market that thing, sell it, right? You need to work out. That is the thing that we cover in the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge. It's like day 0 and day 1. You're not gonna struggle for long with that question. If you have some ideas. If you have no idea, you're not ready for the challenge, okay? If you already have an idea or two of, of something that you could do online for money, coaching, retreats aren't online, but you sell them online, right? Coaching, retreats, freelancing, consulting, virtual assistant work. If you have an idea or multiple ideas, we can work through that in the very beginning. We can work on one for the challenge. Okay. If you already have a business, you already have an idea, but you're not getting clients, come to the challenge. Okay. We're going to work on getting you in front of your ideal audience so that they can become your clients, converting them into clients. That's what we do in the challenge. So join us. Okay. If you are already getting clients in your business and you have a method that works for you and you love it, don't join the challenge, okay? Don't join the challenge if you already have a steady stream of clients in your business. You have all the clients you can serve. Congratulations, okay? You don't need us. You don't need us, okay? But if you don't have enough clients in your business, you don't have a method of bringing in clients over and over and over, a repeatable system to get new clients, join us, okay? Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge starts November 26th, 6 days. All right. Our group coaching calls are at 3 p.m. Eastern time. You need to be able to make 4 or 5 of the 6 calls live, I think. You're going to get all the replays if you join the challenge. You're going to get all the replays, but you're not going to get and you can get your questions answered. There's a Facebook group. So you can get your questions answered, but you're not going to get the same level of coaching if you're not there. So I'd say you need to be able to come to 4 days of coaching at 3 p.m. Eastern time for at least an hour. You need to have 3 to 4 Eastern time available, 4 out of 6 days, Sunday through Friday, okay, for this to work for you. If, yeah, yeah. If you have less than that, what it would mean is you need to watch all the replays. You're not going to get real-time answers to your questions. Some of you may be okay with that in the Facebook group, but it's not ideal. It's not ideal. And you're not going to meet the other women business owners. I can't tell you what it's worth. The challenge costs money. It's not a free challenge. It's $500. All right? This challenge is a $500 challenge. It's not free. It costs money because first of all, Rashida and me, you got to pay for time. You got to pay for. You're not getting six hours plus of our time for a bag of Doritos. Rashida always talking about somebody so and so. They probably pay you in a bag of Doritos, right? You're not getting our time for a bag of Doritos and our coaching and our expertise for a bag of Doritos, right? We host a virtual summit that has generated revenue of over $1 million. Okay, this virtual summit that's been going on for 4 years, ticket sales have accrued to over $1 million in ticket sales. You're not sitting with $1 million business owners for $50, okay, for 50 cents or $50. This is not a challenge where you're going to talk to somebody who's like, I've never sold anything, but let me teach you how to sell things, okay? You're talking to women who know how to sell things and will teach you how to sell things. All right. So the challenge costs money. I'm saying that, but it is a business expense. If you have a business, it's a business expense. Expense that bad boy. I watched whatchamacallit, a TV show not too long ago. He didn't understand what that meant. He was just like, "Oh, expense it." They were like, "You still have to pay for it. You still have to pay." They're like, "Expense it." Um, it's a business expense, and if you don't see a path to making back the $500, then it's not going to be worth it, right? If you can't see a path to knowing how to get clients generating more than $500 for you in the long run, then it's not for you, right? So if you're selling a $2 thing, you're like, I didn't need to sell 250 of these things to make my money back from the challenge. Not worth it, okay? Not worth it for you. All right. So I don't know, but did I answer your question though? I'm still not sure. Myra? So both, we start a business and a channel. YouTube is a way to market your stuff that is not like any other, right? We start both. You can start one at a time, and you choose. You can choose. You can start one at a time. But I think, that's the answer I'm gonna give you as a person with a YouTube channel, right? I'm never gonna be like, oh, you don't need it. YouTube has changed everything for me, right? I want that same thing for you. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Free trials. Okay. All right. So we've talked about how he started to bark and then he was like, let me go bark in the other room. We've talked about how we can see a path towards not having to work forever. Okay. And that is through separating our skills from an employer and putting them out in the world ourselves. Through investing, making sure that our money makes money for us. And through severance, We've talked about mini retirements as a pressure reliever or stress reliever, so that even if today you think you're going to need to work forever, you should still be taking time off, significant blocks of time off. And then we talked about how to live on less money. My ways are being in another country and house sitting. There are other ways, right? I'm not the only two ways to live on less money. I'm not here to tell you to sacrifice everything that you enjoy, though. As a person who really loves travel, I would never be like, let's live on less money today so we can enjoy the future. No, I want to enjoy today. I want to enjoy today, right? So, which is why I still travel, which is why I Googled, how do you travel with no money back in 2016? And Google was like, oh, you should become a house sitter, right? Like, that's how it started. But we find ways to, we make sure that we keep in the things in our lives that bring us joy today. It's not worth it. I don't think it's worth it to sacrifice today for tomorrow. I don't think it's worth it. There are a lot of joyless financial planners out there talking about don't do all the things that you love about your life. Cut them all out today for tomorrow. Is that worth it? They're totally underestimating the importance of joy and peace of mind today. Will you be sane? You may have the money in 20 years, but will you be sane? Will you still have your mental health? So, when I talk about less money living, right? When I wish it was moneyless living. When I talk about less money living, I'm not talking about cutting out all of the things that you enjoy in your life. We still travel. We still do the things that we enjoy. We still spend time with our family and our friends. We do those things. But there are big blocks of money that we can save or invest by being a house sitter, right? Big blocks of money that we don't have to spend if we get our health care in another country. That's what that was about. Oh wow, I'm going on a sabbatical to reimagine my life from December 1st. I can't wait. Wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. I love to hear it, right? My life has been reinvented. I know people don't like, sometimes people get a little like, "Ugh, what is she talking about?" But I'm telling you, you didn't know me then, okay? I'm a different person and I'm living a different life because I took a year where I didn't work and I got to reimagine my life, build it from a new foundation, the foundation of doing as little as possible, the foundation of keeping location freedom, right? Those foundations have helped me build a life that I love. I really do. And wouldn't I wouldn't it wouldn't have happened without that sabbatical. It wouldn't have happened without that career break, that gap year. Yeah. Mary Carter, I would love to see how to do it with my daughter. Lots of women are traveling with school age children. Just, it's not that different, right? You feed yourself, you feed her, right? You find a place to go that with one bedroom, instead you find a place with two bedrooms. If you have a specific question, ask that, Mary. But it's not much different. Your daughter, if she goes to school, can she go to school on the computer? Can she go to school at an international school in the city you're moving to? So I looked, this neighborhood, no, the neighborhood that I house sat in last time in Escazú. No, not Escazú. Yeah, Escazú had like three different international schools where they taught in English, right? So there were a lot of foreigners in that area. Can she go to an international school, or can she just go to school there? Can she just be an just like kids move to the United States, English is their second language and they start school in the US. Can she go to another country where Spanish is her second language, or her, yeah, and she's the, instead of ESL, it's also ESL because it's Espanol as a second language. I think they call it ELS, Espanol, whatever language is segundo, right? Just like people move to the United States without their kids speaking English. and they go to school. Could she do that? Or could she go to school online? Or could you homeschool her and world school her, right? Oh, house sitting. Thank you for being more clear. Listen, you cannot expect me to put two and two together. I don't have that skill. I don't put two and two together. You have to ask me a very specific question. It's a reason that I don't take hints and I don't connect the dots on things. You have to tell me what you mean. Okay, Mary says she means house sitting. House sitting with children is as simple as making sure your profile shows a picture of your kid smiling, okay? So that people, it's not like some unknown entity. It's just your kid included in the, because in your profile you get multiple pictures. You can even make a video, a profile video. Make sure that people can see your kid, right? And then when you apply for the house sit, you say, I house sit with my daughter who is blank years old and loves puppies or something, right? Let them know that this person exists and that she's a good person. And then in your letter of reference, which is a thing that you do on Trusted House Sitters, you get someone to write a letter of reference saying that you're reliable, a reliable person. Um, you also have them mention or have someone mention how amazing your daughter is. Some people will let you house sit with children and some people will not, right? This house, I don't know if the dogs like kids, but she's got space for, if you had been a house sitter with a child, she has a space for it. So she probably would have been like, okay, sure, right? There are other people who are like, no, my dog don't like kids, right? Just like with anything else. I should know. There's a channel. There's at least one YouTube channel, somebody house sitting with children. I can't think of it right now. If I remember, I'll put it in the description. Go into the, what I would say is if you're in the Exodus Summit Facebook community, ask. Ask who's house sitting with kids. We've interviewed somebody on the Exodus Summit YouTube channel. Listen, I have given up trying to remember things. I'm 49 now. I keep notes. You should see the amount of notes I have for this video. That's why I've been able to share links so quickly. I keep notes, but some things I'm not going to remember them. We've interviewed someone recently on the YouTube, on the Exodus Summit YouTube channel, and she had her own YouTube channel, but I don't remember who it was. I'm sorry. But instead, let me drop the link to the Exodus Summit Facebook community. Join us in the community and then ask, who here house sits with children? You'll see the hands go up, okay? People are house sitting with children. People are house sitting with pets, bringing your own pet. Bring your own pet. People are house sitting with spouses, with moms, with friends, solo. House sitting is for us, okay? Okay. Let me scroll. Nick, I gotta have a photo shoot with these pets. Do it. Listen. Yes. First of all, it's fun and they're adorable. It's really hard to take pictures with pets. It's probably harder than kids because some kids love to pose for the camera. Pets are like, get out of my face. But it's worth it. Your profile, having a picture of you smiling with a pet will take you very far. Very far. Don't apologize. Listen, I'm just letting you know, okay? Everybody, anytime anyone asks a question that I don't understand, I say, ask me again. Because sometimes I don't get it, okay? Sometimes I don't get it, and that's okay. That's just how I am. I'm not right. I don't connect the dots. I don't put two and two. You got to start from the beginning with me. Even with Rashida. Rashida and I have known each other since 2019. And we have run businesses together and done things together. And still, when she starts talking, I'll be like, girl, you know you got to start from the beginning. I don't know what you're talking about. Start from the beginning. Ask me the whole question. Every now and then she'll send me a text and I'll be like, what? What are you talking about? Start from the beginning, please. I don't put things together. Okay. Okay. I'm looking through for any questions that I think nobody else in the chat has answered that I need to answer. Most of your questions, somebody in chat will answer for you, even if I don't get to it. And remember, I'm on a third party called Ecamm Live, so I don't see every question. I don't see them all. Okay. Lorna taking a sabbatical in June. I need to rest. Take it. Take it. Milk every day you can out of it. Take that sabbatical for as long as you possibly can. Oh, what now says, I've been on a sabbatical for about 2 months, and my daughter says I'm not a Karen anymore. Oh, changed your whole attitude. I'm glad, and bless her heart. Lord, she was like, you don't know this, but I was sick of you. I was so sick of you. Okay. It will change you. Let it change you. We don't know how these things are affecting us. We don't know how severely these things are affecting us until we get out of the situation, right? Until we remove ourselves. These things, there are things in the world that we cannot expect to change. We can't expect the state of the world to change. We have to move ourselves out of the state, out of the situation, out of the place, right? We don't know how they're affecting us. They're poisoning us, killing us. But it's just everyday life. It feels like just everyday life until we get in a new place, become a new person, the person who's buried down in here. I've seen it, not just for me, right? I've seen it. There's 13,000 women in the Exodus Summit community. We got a good chunk of women who have been on a sabbatical. I've seen that change over and over and over and over and over, right? I'm not just saying, I know earlier I said I like to extrapolate or stereotype, but that's not a stereotype. It's reality. Black women plan a sabbatical thinking, oh, this would be nice. They get on sabbatical and being like, I needed it. I didn't know. I didn't know how bad it was. I didn't know until I did it, how much I needed it. So that's why we talk about it over and over and over again, okay? You ain't got to worry about me not talking about a sabbatical. You ain't got to worry about it. I know what it does for us. I know what it does for us, okay? So I'm so glad that you're not a Karen anymore. I'm glad that your daughter gets to enjoy this newer version of you, this better version of you, rested, hopefully happier, more peaceful version of yourself. I'm glad you get to experience it as well, right? Don't want to overlook that. I'm glad you get to experience it, and I'm glad that she gets to know you, not stress you, not burn out you, not overworked and overwhelmed you, but you, vacation you, right? I'm glad. Okay. When you house sit, do you buy your own food? Yes. You get free accommodation only. You have to get yourself to the house sit, right? You provide your own transportation. Every now and then you'll get a house sit where they give you the car to use, but that's not often, especially not in the U.S. They hardly ever do that. Okay, quiet. But you take care of yourself. You're living in that house, but all they're giving you is free accommodation. Okay. All right, I'm scrolling through the chat one more time. Oh, you know what? There were some super chats I didn't acknowledge. I hope y'all are still here. I'm sorry. I don't listen. So we have a Vicarian sabbatical fund, which I've linked to in the description of this video. And so most of the women who used to give money on Super Chat a lot, like it was a lot of repeat customers, a lot of people giving Super Chat over and over and over again. Instead, we've moved over to Patreon and they just give $3, $5, $10, $20 a month. And that money gets pooled into the Vicarian Sabbatical Fund to send a Black woman on sabbatical. So thank you, Jiva girl, thank you. She says, thank you for all you do for the community. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. I'll add that to the Vicarian Sabbatical Fund money. And Veronica Shepard, also, I hope you're still here. Thank you very much for that super chat, Veronica. Hi. Ela Mac or Ella Mac? Ela? I'm going to go with Ela. If it's not Ela, you're going to have to correct me. I hope you're still here. Thank you for the super chat. I signed up for Trusted House Sitters. How should I start interacting with these white homeowners? They apply. So inside of my new house sitter toolkit, I've given you the letter, the template of how I email them when I'm ready to apply for their house sit. housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit. It's in the description of this video. That email is what you need. I found that outside of the US, nobody really cares too much if I'm Black or not. Inside of the US, retirement age white people rarely book me to house sit. I got my first house sit in Florida just this summer, 2023. Right. House sitting in Florida is like, Florida is where it's at, right? It's a whole bunch of retirees who have all the time in the world to travel. House sitting in Florida is where it's at. I booked my first retirement aged clients in Florida just this year after 6 years of house sitting, right? Um, retirement age people, retirement age white people rarely book me in the US, but out of the US, around the world, no problem. The main thing that you want to do is you'll want to explain to them that they need to, once they book you, once you're confirmed, applying for the house sit isn't all that much different, okay? But once you're confirmed, you'll want to explain to them that they need to give your information to a neighbor. And if possible, even introduce you to a neighbor. Somebody in that neighborhood needs to know that you belong in that house. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of difference interacting with people. Some white people do not want a Black person staying in their home. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to ignore your application. Good. Right? No problem. Some white people want to give their version of reparations and let you stay in their home. I had my last I did a house sit in Palm Springs where she was like, she had an Airbnb attached to the house. And she was like, oh, you can stay before and after. And you know what I did? I stayed there before and after. I think I spent a week there before and after combined. I spent a full week in that house for free that she normally Airbnbs out. I'm like, give me my reparations, right? So for the most part, people who don't want a Black house sitter aren't going to talk to you. You're not going to have to deal with, you don't have to deal with racism in the application process. You just need to be able to be prepared in the neighborhood. You just need to, they need to do some work. They need to make sure that somebody in that neighborhood knows you're supposed to be there, and you need to have some contact information for a neighbor. That's it. So Jazzy, yes, Jazzy says, can I use Airbnb comments to bolster my recommendations? So yes, when I joined Trusted House Sitters, that was not possible, but it is possible now. When you join and get your membership, they'll ask you if you want to connect to Airbnb so that you can pull over your Airbnb reviews. It's possible. Yes. Nicole, hi Nicole. Nicole has had nothing but positive experiences with house sitting. People are kind and welcoming. So grateful, Stephanie. It truly helped change my mind regarding some of my own biases. Yeah, so house sitting is not mainstream. House sitting is not mainstream. Right now, the people on the Trusted House Sitters platform the people on the platform are a very specific type of person, right? Pet owners who love their pets, who love travel, and are into an exchange, right? Into the exchange of, you take care of my home and my pet, I give you this place to stay in as your home. You get welcomed into this home as if it's your place, right? There will be a time when house sitting is mainstream and house sitting clients are jerks, but today they're not. Trusted house sitting people on the Trusted House Sitters platform are good, right? They've been good to me. They'll be good to you. They're planning a trip and they're usually stressed out and busy, right? I'm not saying they're going to be able to roll out the hospitality red carpet every time, but sometimes they absolutely will. This lady, she was like, well, let's get in the car. Let me drive you to the grocery store. And I was like, no, remember, I've been in this complex before. I stayed here not long ago, so I know where everything is. She wanted, like, she flew to Seattle with her mom. So they're doing this big trip, and she wasn't even finished packing, and right, all this stuff she had to do, and she wanted to stop and take time and show me the neighborhood, and show me the area. Right now, the people on the Trusted House Sitters platform, for the most part, are good, kind, caring people who love their pets, who love travel, and who want to make sure you have a good experience, make sure you have a good time in their home. Okay, good. Yeah, so Pinky did that. Pinky linked her Airbnb profile to her Trusted House Sitters and LinkedIn. Okay, look at Trusted House Sitters doing new things. I didn't know that was possible. I did know the Airbnb thing was pretty possible. Yeah, share what you want. I wouldn't link my LinkedIn because it would lead them back to my YouTube channel. I'm like, y'all need to be in my business, okay? I don't want y'all seeing me shooting YouTube videos in your house. But it's been good. I wouldn't still do it if it wasn't good, right? Like, Valerina, just did my first house sit locally. The couple was very welcoming, gave me access to everything, even passcodes to their streaming services. They said, come over anytime. I still have the door code. Wow, you made friends, Valerina. I think y'all go together now. Y'all go together. Yeah. Yes, these pets are their favorite family members. I say that all the time, right? They're bringing you in because this pet is their favorite family member. They're not boarding this pet, right? Sometimes I house sit for cats who don't even need me. 3 days? A cat doesn't need a human for 3 days. These cats have automatic feeders. They have automatic timers now that feed them at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. or whatever. They have little water fountains that run the water. They don't need me, right? But I'm there because they love that cat and they want to make sure that cat is loved and taken care of while they're gone. Yeah. I don't it's been wonderful. I promise you, I wouldn't still do it. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not a person to suffer through things. Struggle through things, right? I haven't done a work exchange since I started house sitting. And mostly that's because house sitting has been so good that I haven't need to do a work exchange. Work exchanges give you free room and board, but you generally need to work 3 to 5 hours per day doing something, sometimes it's like volunteer work, sometimes it's like construction work, gardening, uh, farming, something. But I haven't done that since house sitting because I love house sitting. We do have to take an extra step for our own security. It is tiring, but Faith, friend, I can't solve the problem. I can't solve the problem, but I can tell you here this is an extra step that I do, right? I need a neighbor to see my face, especially in the US. Outside of the US, no problem. No problem, right? Outside of the US, if they go to introduce me to a neighbor, it's just because they want to make sure I'm good, right? But in the US, like you have to introduce me to a neighbor so I don't die in this house sit, right? Walking these dogs. It's tiring. Find ways to get our reparations. I don't know. I find house sitting doesn't count as reparations because white people can house sit. Anybody can house sit. But I do consider it a version of reparations. It's trusted house sitters. Trusted house sitters. Get my new house sitter toolkit. I'm not kidding. It's helpful. It's got the link to Trusted House Sitters, of course, my affiliate link, so it doesn't cost you any extra to join, but I get a commission, so thanks for that. But it also has the letter that I use, the very same letter that I sent, the same letter that I sent to get this house sit and all of my previous 40 or whatever house sits, the same letter. It's there. Now you'll want to change the wording, right? Because it sounds like me. You want to finesse it, change it. But the skeleton of that email is exactly what you need to get house sitting. So Trusted House Sitters is the platform I use, and my information is in the new house sitter toolkit at housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit. Ah, see me, just did a work exchange in Denmark. It was quite physical at times. Okay, was it on a farm? Yes, Chloe. I'm on my second house sit in Florida on Tuesday. Congratulations. Yeah, house sitter season. Thanksgiving through Martin Luther King Day. It's house sitter season. Everybody's going somewhere. Everybody's going somewhere. It's house sitter season. Get your profile up. If it's not up already, get it up. If it's up, apply for house sits. Apply, 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 apply. It doesn't matter if you've applied before and you didn't get it. Use my letter, you fix some things, right? If you wouldn't say, oh my gosh, your dog is so adorable, I can't wait to cuddle with him, right? Then you need to change the letter. But use it. Use the basics of that letter and get yourself some house sits. It's house sitter season. Nicole says, as a house sitter, as a black woman, I felt I had an unfair advantage. Most people love mature black women to come do some domestic work. It's not new. Yeah, I think so too. I think people trust black women. I think for black men, solo black men, it's probably harder to house sit, right? But people trust black women. So no, so the litter box can go for 2, 3 days, right? One cat, especially like some people have two litter boxes anyway. They don't need that cat could be alone. I'm so serious. A cat can be alone for 3 days and live. You have the feeder, the fountain, a litter box or two. They're good. They don't need me. Those people don't bring me in to cat sit for them because their cat would die without me or because the house would be a mess without me. They bring me in because they love that cat. And they want somebody to cuddle with that cat, play with the cat. They want to come home to a happy cat, right? I'm so serious. I did a one night overnight house sit for a cat, for two cats in Wimbledon in the UK. Them cats didn't, I didn't even feed the cat. They fed the cats before I got there that night. I don't even need to feed this cat. I'm not here to house sit. I'm here because you love that cat. You know, like I'm not here to do anything. I'm here because they love that cat. So serious, so serious. Yeah, that cat can go days without the litter box being cleaned. 2, 3, 4 days. And some people have multiple litter boxes. The little kitten only had one, but the last I did a cat sit. Oh, the Palm Springs. They had one dog and two cats, and she had two different litter boxes. Anyway, yeah. House sitting. It's wonderful. I recommend it. Do it. If you're a friend of animals, do it through trusted house sitters. If you're not a friend of animals, find another way to house sit. I'm so serious. The only training you need is you need to have had some animal experience, right? Even if you've had your own pets, you're very highly qualified. But even if not, if you've taken care of somebody else's dog when they went on vacation or somebody else's cat when they went on vacation, you're qualified. That's it. That's it, right? You need to be a reliable person, right? You need to be a person who does what you say you're going to do. Uh, and you need to be self-sufficient. You need to be a person who can figure it out, right? Because this client, like my client's in Seattle, I'm here in Costa Rica. I can't ask her how to change the clock on the microwave, right? The apartment complex sent a WhatsApp message and said power is going to be out from 8 to 4. It was actually out from 9 to 2, right? Power was out from 9 to 2 on Wednesday, right? So I can't send her a message like, girl, this is irritating me. How do I change the clock on the microwave, right? Figure it out. Yeah, figure things out. How do I order food? Figure it out. Where's the trash go? Sometimes they forget to tell you. Different places have different trash rules. And sometimes I forget to ask and they forget to tell you. You got to figure it out. So if you're reliable, if you're a friend to animals, and if you're self-reliant, house sitting is a wonderful way to see the world or your own town without paying for a place to stay. Trusted house sitters, if you can join trusted house sitters on your own, you don't need house sitter school. You still need my toolkit, okay, at housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit. You still need my toolkit. But if you can figure trusted house sitters platform out on your own, you don't need house sitter school. House sitter school is for people who can't figure out how to get their profile set up right, who are just a little unsure. That's my digital. I sell a 45-minute digital class that walks you through setting up your membership, applying for house sits, and then how to get a 5-star review. Okay? You can bring a dog. If you ask them, they're just people. House sitting clients are just people, right? Here's my dog. My dog's name is Mochi. He's fully house trained and he loves other dogs. Um, they may want to do a Zoom call with you just to see that Mochi's not like tearing up the computer, right? But yes, how people house sit with dogs, cats, kids, spouses, moms, friends. Yes, you just talk to them, ask them, right? Ask them. Okay. My cat needs a sitter. Justin says my cat needs a sitter. Yeah, yes. So nowadays dry pet food in general is out of style for cats and dogs. A lot of animals are on wet food now. The little dog who you haven't seen yet, the little dog eats like raw meat that comes in a special package. The big dog eats a mixture of kibble and wet food. But the little dog eats like raw meat. Right? Anyway, for cats and dogs, wet food is now the move. You're seeing less and less kibble and dry cat food. So yes, but a cat would survive for 3 days. Even a cat who's been getting wet food, right, would eat the dry food from the feeder if they had to. Yeah. Yeah, cats have an attitude, and so that's why this is why they're bringing me in a cat sit for short periods of time. Now, for the longer time, it's different. But those 1 night, 2 night, 3 night cat sits are just so the cat is happy. Play with her, please. All right. Brush her if she likes it. Some cats don't like it. Play with her, right? We just don't want to come back to, because a cat will terrorize you. When they come home, if a cat is unhappy, they will terrorize that whole house. That's why I'm there sometimes. Sometimes. I know it. Sometimes. That's the only reason. Just so that that cat is not mad at them when they get back. Sana, how blunt are you about the topic of letting the neighbors know you're house sitting? I've been very blunt in writing in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, and Greenwich, Connecticut. They were accommodating. Same. Listen, I need a neighbor to know I belong here. Right? If we can't knock on a door and meet someone, okay? Can you send their contact info? They always have the contact info, right? People always have a neighbor's info somewhere. But can you send it to me, and can I text them, the neighbor, and send them my picture? I did that in the other Palm Springs, down near Palm Desert. I never met a neighbor, but I texted her a message. Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm house sitting. I'm taking care of whatever the dogs' names are. And then she came back and brought me a piece of cake. I didn't eat the cake. I don't know that lady. I didn't eat the cake, but she did bring me a slice of cake, right? Sometimes it can be a multi-step process where the client is already gone before you meet the neighbor. Sometimes it's like that. But yeah, can you introduce me to a neighbor? If not, if it's not because they try and nobody's home, or they got to hurry up and get out the door, get the contact info, text them, and send them a picture. Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm over here until these dates, right? High vibe. My cat cussed me out when I came back from vacation. Yeah, they have an attitude. Cats are not. They're not aware that they're the pets. Dogs are aware that they are the most dogs. Some little dogs aren't, but most dogs are aware that you're the human is the person. The dog, they're aware that they're a pet. Cats are not aware of that. Do you ever watch the YouTube channel for those animals that use those little talking buttons? There's a dog named Bunny who uses talking buttons, and she has asked her mom if she was a human. Mom, are you human? Mom, am I human? And the mom will be like, no, Bunny is a dog. Mom is a human. And Bunny went on about her business. The cat, Billy Speaks is a YouTube channel for a cat who has those talking buttons. Billy, you'll be like, Billy person, but Billy human. And the mom will be like, no, Billy's not a human. And Billy will be like, mad, mad, mad. Billy was like, listen, you and me, we on the same level. Okay. Okay. No, I did not. No, I did not. I don't know that lady. Okay. Oh, let me stop. Okay. I was going to say even more. Leave it at that. Right? Let's leave it at that. I said, thank you. I appreciate that. And then I'll put it in the basura. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going on 3 hours. I don't know if y'all know this. Okay. It's time to go. I don't think I had anything else on my calendar for the day. And I wanted to not cover a lot, but I wanted to just approach a lot of things. We approached a lot of stuff in this video. Okay. But I hope I've pointed you to places where you can get more info, where you know how to get info if you need a severance, if you need to learn to invest, if you need to start offering your services away from your job, right? Join us in the Get Your Next Three Clients Challenge starting November 26th. We had 2 people registered before I went live today. So that means there were 23 spots available. The challenge always fills up, so the challenge will fill up. Go ahead and register. And our platform now has Afterpay, which is new. Kajabi is the course platform that we're using. We don't. It's not a traditional course. It's we meet on Zoom, right? But we're using a platform called Kajabi, and Kajabi has offered Afterpay now. So you can break up the payments. If you think that investing $500 today in your business could reap you $500 on the back end, which it could, learning how to get clients, if that can bring you back 500, go ahead and join us, okay? November 26th is a Sunday, so we start Sunday through Friday. We're Sunday through Friday with you get an assignment every day, and then you come into group coaching to ask your questions for 6 days. That's a challenge. Y'all know what a challenge is. That's a challenge. For house sitting, I have a house sitter school for the how to use the Trusted House Sitters platform, but there's no house sitting training. House sitting training, house sitting is living in a house. So you already do that. Hi, Trial and Error by MF. You already do that. House sitting is being in a home, right? So there's no training for that. House sitter school will answer some questions about getting booked, and it does answer questions about how to get a 5-star review, right? But it's not house sitting it's living in a house and taking care of a dog or a cat, things that you've already done. So there's no training for it. But again, if you're a responsible person who does what you say you're going to do and is where you say you're going to be, house sitting will work for you. If you're a person who, for some reason, you always have to leave early and you can never be there on time, and right, house sitting is not for you. You can't just up and leave 2 days early on a house sit because that dog will die, right? The dog will die. We don't leave house sits early. So as long as you're a person who does what you say you're going to do, is where you say you're going to be, and is a friend to animals, and can figure it out, is self-reliant, can figure things out on your own. House sitting is a wonderful opportunity, thing. I recommend it. I recommend it. I love it. I'm on this house sit until December 1st, and I leave here and go directly back to that house sit with the kitten until December 10th. I just found out that they canceled the house sit that I was going to do in Grenada. They canceled their trip home. And so so I don't have my Grenada house sit. So I'm still going to Grenada January 7th through 15th, but I thought I was going early for the house sit. So I'm still going to Grenada, but not then. So right now I've got 2 applications out for 2 house sits right here in Costa Rica, one at the beach and one here in town. Yeah. Okay. All right. So happy weekend, everyone. Some of you I will see back here next Saturday. I'm trying to think, is there anything happening before then? Don't have coaching this weekend. So no, most of you I'll see back here next Saturday. Okay? Yeah, glass half full. I've been here since 2021, still learning new things. Welcome. This is a wonderful space. We're all learning new things. We're all learning new things. Okay, thanks, friends. Sana, have a good weekend. See you soon. Happy Saturday. Okay? You're very welcome, BB. All right. Yolanda says it was informative and fun. I'm glad. I'm glad you were here, Yolanda. Thank you. All right. Okay, you know what I mean. Okay. Yeah, I know. I would like to have spent 2, 3 weeks in Grenada, but 1 week will be fun. It'll be good. It'll be good. Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving. That's what I should have said. I won't see you before Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving. Eat some turkey for me. I really enjoy turkey and sweet potatoes and stuffing and cranberry sauce and all of that. Kat and I got to figure out what we're going to do for Thanksgiving here in town. She and her family are not too far, so we got to figure that out. Kat, if you're still here, I'm going to call the Intercontinental and the Marriott and see if they're hosting a Thanksgiving dinner. Okay. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, friends. That's what we'll be doing until then. Until next Saturday. Thank you so much for being here and for being so kind and generous. If you don't mind hitting the like button on your way out, I'd appreciate it. If you think that there's a Black woman who might like to be introduced to this idea of retirement, even though she hasn't thought about it before, didn't think it was realistic, go ahead and hit the like button. That really does give YouTube the data that says you liked it. And YouTube will go out and try to find somebody else who might like it. So hit the like button before you go. And next Saturday, we'll be here talking about stuff together. My mom says bye, everyone. So hit the like button for Connie Perry if you don't do it for me. Thank you. All right. Have a wonderful Saturday. Thanks for your hanging out with me for such a long time. This was a long one, but glad you were here. Okay. Bye, friends. See you guys later. Bye.